air at 106.9 FM.
What does this button do? Lord, have mercy.
On your phone or device at tunein.com. Or on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Boom SVG 1069.
The number one morning show in the SVG.
Morning.
OMG in the morning.
Come on now.
OMG in the morning.
That money you spend. All of me team, they also show the whole of your friend. Matalano signal to me sending back to zone 10. While everybody you show ravers them at it again. So watch the bones, hop, skip your enemy there. Swing your one from left to right, me know this I go mad then. Beat them like a whipping on me and me now look my friend. Enough of them you hear a talk when them see we them not nothing. Bones, hop, make sure you swing your one there. When them come to you with argument, make sure you run them. Happy I live for life, I make money, we not a problem. I bag a chat and make I say them bad, we not look at them. Bones. So you feel bones. Bones. So you feel bones. Tyree, try your bones to this. Uptown dancers, we are not done to this. Dancing are just fun, it and no mathematics. Anyway, me go, me a the general in a this. But as Ken, me a beg you to check your left in me. In our side, tell us me say fi come here to me. Tisha, Rebel TC, I'm pretty. I feel the touch, and I go tell me say they want money. So watch the bones, hop. Skip your enemy there. Swing your one from left to right, me know this I go mad then. Beat them like a whipping on me and me now look my friend. Enough of them you hear a talk when them see we them not nothing. Bones, hop, make sure you swing your one there. When them come to you with argument, make sure you run them. Happy I live for life, I make money, we not a problem. I bag a chat and make I say them bad, we not look at them. Peace love a bag a girl a trust them in a Mayan. Say them want to take my throne, them can't go round me collar. Foot a brush sugar and I hate Disney pay for the Louis V. The year just barely start and them a ball, them a go sick away. But me no want safe and no dancing, you see run out of me. Legend for the new school accidents as them a Italy. Cool take off a teacher, fling your shoulders over Germany. Ding dang in every picnic vein, so now them can't get rid of. Watch the booms, hop, skip your enemy there. Swing your one from left to right, me know this I go mad then. Beat them like a whipping on me and me nah look no friend. Enough of them you hear a talk when them see we them not do nothing. Booms, hop, make sure you swing your one there. When them come to you with argument, make sure you run them. Happy I live for life, I make money, we not a problem. I bag a chat and make I say them bad, we not look at them. Booms. One hand for this one. I have my house and I have my car. Have my drink and I have my bar. Have my peace and I don't want war. Have my riches, I don't need bar.
We're saying shady.
Money, I got my girl. Got my diamonds, I got my pearl. Got my things and I got my wings. And me fly every day, I'm at the land of wings. Everybody sing happiness. Whoa, we not in a long with stress. Gonna fake friend, gonna bad mind. We don't want no friendship from them. Sing again now. Happiness. Whoa, we not in a long with stress. Dance me a dance and I enjoy myself. If you want sada for you.
You're in a mood this morning, buddy. Stir fry. Stir fry. Stir fry. Stir fry.
Stir fry. Stir fry. The dance bad. Yo, now I'm all alive. Let go the bird. Let go the bird. Let go the bird. Let go the bird.
Signal the plane. Signal the plane when you let go the bird. Morning to you, buddy. You can stretch across this morning. Let me see how that goes. No, I'm not hearing you, buddy. I don't know what it did. I don't know what it did. No. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good at all. That's not good. That's not good. Let me tap this one. Not good at all. Not good. Not good. Not good. Not good. Stand by, yeah? We're trying to get something sorted out here. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Hang on. Oh, when it rains, it pours, I tell you. Hang on. Hold on. There you go, shit. I know what's happening. All right, while we await that to get that sorted out, Lord of mercy, I tell you, when it goes, it comes. When it comes, it goes. That's the nature of life. And sometimes I feel my life is a bit different. But hey, we're gonna try to work through it this morning and see. You got him? Let's see. Gotta get that sorted. We got things to talk about this morning. Hang on. Got you. Should be getting you wrongly. Try wrongly. Say something. Just.
We good there?
Yeah, we good there. What did you do? I don't know. But leave it. Don't touch it. We good there. Yeah. Let's say good morning to Shady. Good morning, buddy.
Morning, real bad man.
Yes, man. That's how we like to song this morning. Good morning. How are you doing this morning? How was your weekend?
It was good.
What did you do on the weekend that made it so good?
Relax.
Relaxation. I called you a couple times on the weekend, and yeah. On the court?
Yeah.
Or in the court? You're gone back to not paying that child support thing, Shady? How many times I gotta warn you about that, Shady? You gotta pay your child support, Shady. Don't do that, buddy. You can't do that.
Maybe I need a raise.
Okay, stay on the code. Yo, listen, before the cutlass, Max, good morning to you. Doug, good morning. Winston, good morning. Mary, morning. Bernadette, morning. Glenda, McIntosh, good morning. Preston, good morning. And the whole of you, all of you, can't say good morning to everybody, but Sancho, good morning to you. Yeah, morning, all. Oh, Shady, don't touch anything. Yeah, oh my gosh. Say good morning again. Shady, say good morning again over there. Yeah, we cooking with gas. Yeah. Lord have mercy. Max, where's saying, buddy? Max is in St. Kitts. Yeah, Max, boy, you're doing well. So, where do I start? Where do I start before the cutlass get in here this morning? And he come with his nonsense and his back and all now. My friend Colin John is no longer Commissioner of Police. Oh, we knew that was coming. I knew that was coming. But what a lot of people do not know is the backstory as to what has been taking place or what took place. And I want to say good morning to my friend. I don't care who vexed with you, who feel they're your friend, and who feel you this to them and who that to them. I don't care. You're my friend. My friend Colin John, good morning to you, buddy. I give him some space on the weekend, but I'm gonna reach out to you this morning, buddy. All right, good morning to you. Good morning. I saw you making some posts and all of that. Don't get into that, buddy. Leave it alone. Don't do that. All right, leave it alone. Don't get into those posts. Carol, good morning to you. Leave it alone. Vaughn, good morning to you. Good morning. Leave it alone. So that's one of the big ticket items. That's one of the big things that I know a lot of people are going to be talking about this morning. But I think that we in here have already dealt with that until we get Colin to come in the studio and do an interview with us. I think we've gone past that by now. All right, so let's leave that alone. Because there are so many other issues that are taking place in the country. So many other things. My partner tell me, boy, we got things to talk about for the next 3 months. 3 months, we got things to talk about. Without even looking, thinking, searching. There's so many things happening. One of them, which I saw recently. By the way, we should be getting some rain according to the Met Office, all right? We should be getting some rain later this evening, tonight, tomorrow, okay? If it's a forecast, meaning that they're not sure, they're forecasting it, they think the possibilities are very strong that we should be getting some rain. So if no rain ain't come tomorrow, don't blame me, blame the Met Office, all right? We need it. We should be getting some rain, some good showers tomorrow. So this story about Reno Industries, the St. Lucian company who is in St. Vincent doing business, and which I personally don't have a problem with a St. Lucian company operating in St. Vincent, because I would love a Vincentian company. I would love a bigger bigs going to St. Lucia and doing business. And we're part of the OECS, we're part of CARICOM, and we've got that agreement, you know. But my issue with this company, Reno Industries, who now, according to the story, let me pull the story, for those of you who did not see it or who don't know about it. Reno Industries, hang on, wait the thing there. Reno Industries, the St. Vincent and the Grenadines-based agriculture, marketing and trading company, is attempting to fill the hole left by the closing of Windfresh. Well, I should know, but I didn't know that Windfresh closed. And I should know that. That is something I should know if that is the case. Windfresh closed. According to this story. This is something I should know, but I didn't know that. Maybe it's because I've been out. The company continues to ship coconuts to the U.S. Virgin Islands on a regular basis, giving growers another secure outlet. The emphasis is on purchasing coconuts in Orange Hill, in the Orange Hill area. However, as export expand, purchasing will spread across the country. Reno Industries. Now, for those of you who, like me, who didn't know that Windfresh closed, Reno Industries is a St. Lucian company which came to St. Vincent and the Grenadines and had sex in North Leeward. For those of you who didn't know. And according to one minister who is a good friend of mine, Minister Julian Francis, who's now advisor to the government, the sex was so good, there was an orgasm. When Reno came and had sex in North Leeward, he had an orgasm. A St. Lucian company came and not only had sex, but raped the landscape of North Leeward. Raped! And I say rape, I mean rape in all terms. And those of you who've not seen the photographs, Shady, we had some photographs there. I don't know. I know they've been there and it's been a while. We had some photographs, some drones photographs and some regular photographs from the grounds. In how Reno Industries raped because he wanted to have such a big orgasm the landscape of North Leeward. Now we are hearing that a company which came to mine stones, getting in to the coconuts, the export of coconuts, which I don't have a problem with. In fact, I love it. I think the farmers should benefit from that. But how do you justify a company coming to rape and have an orgasm in North Leeward? Now switching, and as per usual, nobody is saying anything. Or maybe, I've been out, so I don't know. I don't know if something was said and I didn't know. And my questions, maybe it was said because I've been out and I don't know. The concessions which was given to Reno Industries to rape North Leeward. What happened to those concessions? Are they moved on? Does he still have them? Or is he using these concessions for the coconut industry? From what I just saw, the closure of Windfresh, which I don't know, that is what I read in the article. I wasn't aware that Windfresh had closed. These concessions, great concessions, importations of vehicle, tax concessions, among other things, to rape the landscape of North Leeward. This light flashing really it disturbs me. So let me take it. Sorry. All right, the person gone, moved on. When I say light flashing, I mean the phone lights. The concessions which was given. What happened to those concessions? The 20 years concession or however long it was. What happened to them? The stones which was to be used for the millions and millions and millions of dollars of projects which we couldn't get anywhere else. That is why we had to bring in Reno to rape North Leeward, what happening now? Yes, I saw it's flashing and it distracted me. Good morning.
Good morning, Brother Bing. How are you? And you know, when I call to help you. I call you to cost you. And I want to say, I've been speaking about the agriculture sector, which is totally dead. And I want to say to you that Windfresh is dead long time. And this is a problem. I could attest to St. Lucia, Grenada, Dominica. Full trust in bananas. Agriculture making over 375 to add to their tourism sector, vibrant, and their citizen by investment program. And I'm saying banana wasn't killed because Hammy killed it. I could tell you, lady farmers call in and tell you the real destruction to the agriculture, not just bananas. But you have coconut, we were number one for arrows. We don't even ship to Trinidad anymore. And I'm saying, hey, for God's sake, why are we bringing in St. Lucia coming to the ship? Why we can't ship? We even hearing a big Joe minister doing fishing. Hammy could give you information, and I'm going to send you information, because you don't even understand Windfresh and why it was closed. Why was Windfresh shut down? Because they didn't spray the bananas. Willfully didn't spray the bananas. And so what is it that we are saying here? We are saying here, we've been talking about the destruction of agriculture. No wonder we are getting a big hit on the NS.
All right.
And I want to make it clear to you, get information, Bing. Don't have propaganda, because, you're reading from a document, you don't even know if it's correct.
Thank you.
God bless you, but
God
we
bless
have
you.
to get that change. We have to
Thank
make
you.
that change and get back our agriculture.
Thank you.
God bless
We
you.
certainly do. God bless you. God bless you. So we were told that Reno, however his name is pronounced, had to come in. And he did a horrible job raping the landscape. If you see the place, farmers lost their crops. People lost after putting in so much work. Good morning, caller. You're live.
Morning.
Morning, my buddy. Hey, are you in the Caribbean, buddy?
Man, I'm in St. Kitts enjoying some of these citizen by investment money they have over here. And a lot of intentions down here doing well for themselves, and they all want to come home. And I talk to them, they all want to come home and do what they're doing in St. Kitts, but the economic environment in St. Vincent currently now is not going to afford for them to come and enjoy St. Vincent like they enjoy in St. Kitts. And that's a reality now. I'm with you, Bing. I'm not against Reno coming to St. Vincent because it's an OECS man. You understand what I'm saying? I love the Caribbean, but I love St. Vincent more. And I was talking to Marlon Butte on a post that he made on Facebook saying that he's supposed to don't be lazy. Vincentian are supposed to be lazy and take up the opportunities that Reno is taking up, because the opportunity is there for everybody. And I'm like, Marlon, where can I get the concessions Reno is getting right now? He's telling me check Invest SVG. Anybody who could get concession, Vincentian, who gets in concessions like Reno has gotten 30 years of concession. When you check Invest SVG, you check me. Because apparently Marlon got, and it's not an attack on Marlon. I love Marlon and I love what Marlon is doing, and I love the economical opportunity he is providing for St. Vincent by expanding his business from Canada to the place of his birth. He's motivated me to work hard at Pride, to be honest. But if a Vincentian can't get the same opportunity as an outsider, me not want that. That's basically all I'm saying, and then he man come for get organic quarry orgasm. Tech with farmers land, but no, he is exporting farm products. That's a slap in the face of Vincentians, and then they say, no, he buying it from Vincentian to sell it. Okay, if you're buying it from Vincentian and selling it, you're selling it as a profit, and it's Sabato Caesar, the Minister of Agriculture, who been bragging for years and years and years that we are the breadbasket of the Caribbean. If Reno could come in such a short time and create a market, why couldn't the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, in particular the Ministry of Agriculture, have the same marketing strategy to help out local Vincentian farmers to create the market that Reno had come and create in such short time? That's all I'm saying. We're not saying feed them. We're just saying help them, give them a little bit of ingredients so they could cook their own food. That's all I'm saying, because all we have people who send things along at Trinidad and them can't catch them Trinidadian dollars because of some economical thing with the money. You get people who send things down St. Kitts and still await for their money. So all these things, and then, you know what I mean, this just leave a nasty taste in my mouth, and it's not a fight, and it's an upliftment. No. How much is he buying these coconut from local farmers for? Is he giving them a good price for their money? Because remember when they tell you about medical marijuana, $56 a pound, they be want to give all you vagabonds free marijuana, no? $56 a pound. And remember that? But no, we got to demand better for ourselves, man. St. Vincent is an amazing place. We have all the natural resources. And we have to exploit our things to make our lives better. We can't make an outsider come and eat better food, are we? That's all I'm saying.
All right, my brother, thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Remember, we've got the concert coming up at 7:45, Mr. Weeks at 8:30, Dr. Richards at 9:45, and the Cutlass is here as well. So good morning to you, Cutlass.
Little Red has arrived.
Little Red is in the bed, is in the building.
Little Red has to leave around by 8:30.
Right, that's fine. Little Red is in the building.
Little Red is in the building.
Little Red is in the building.
How are you, buddy? How was your weekend?
I had a great weekend. How about
Shady,
you?
how was your? I don't really care. Just being polite. Shady, how was your weekend?
You don't really care about my weekend. He just asked.
How was your weekend, Shady?
It was good.
Excellent. You see that? What made it good, Shady?
I got to rest.
That's not what you told me. You see, we don't lie in here. We don't lie about the little things in here. You know what I mean? We don't
Because
lie.
remember, it's only among the three of us.
Yeah.
Nobody else is listening.
We
to
don't
us.
lie and we don't
We
cheat.
don't lie. We don't.
Yeah.
I had a very nice weekend,
I say why.
and two important things I need to chat about briefly.
Yes.
One is a very serious matter. Yesterday, what I used to do every Sunday, but I just started back again because I haven't done it for a couple of months because I've been traveling a lot. And I went to Argyle. I parked at the bottom end of the airport, and I walk up and down outside the airport on the road going around by where Ricky and Michelle have their
Yes,
place.
yes,
And what do you call down there again?
yes.
What do you call down there, you?
Warco.
Okay, right. Down there, really lovely part of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And there's not too much traffic and so on, which always makes it's a nice place to walk and get some exercise. You wouldn't know what that term means.
I wouldn't
walk
know.
and exercise. You wouldn't
I
understand what those
wouldn't
mean,
know.
right? But there is a quote-unquote temporary bridge there that, if memory serves me right, was put up during the 2013 floods, I believe, which was 10 years ago now, when the bridge got washed out. Remember, there was an original bridge, because that was the original Windward Highway that went around that way, right? And there was a bridge there that I believe got washed out. I believe it's 2013. And there was a bridge put in there, which I understood to be a temporary bridge, because it's one of these metal bridges, like a Bailey type bridge.
A Bailey bridge.
I'm not an engineer, but a Bailey type bridge. But I'm walking along yesterday, and I go over this Bailey bridge, if it's a Bailey bridge, metal bridge in any event, and it's rusting out. I'm talking about the floor is rusting out. There's at least 2 or 3 areas where soon a vehicle is going to drive along there. They're going to go smash their vehicle up and probably get very seriously hurt. So I'm appealing to those who have the power in this country, Bragsaw in particular. Go and take a look at this bridge, please, and please fix it, okay? Because we really don't want anybody getting hurt unnecessarily. I know we're not very good at maintaining anything in this country, but I think it would be really good if you guys paid a little bit of attention. You can't say nobody's talking about it, all right? And try and fix the bridge before somebody gets seriously hurt. No, that's the serious thing.
I've seen that bridge.
What were you doing wrong there? Because that's a place where people go and park out when they're doing disgusting behavior. When I was a youngster, for example.
So you were doing disgusting
when I was a
behavior?
youngster?
You did disgusting behavior wrong there?
No, when I was a youngster, yes.
Oh, when you were a youngster.
When I was a
okay,
youngster,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
A nice place to go and park out with our guy.
You know, I drove around the back wrong
You
there,
did.
right?
Yes.
And I saw the bridge.
Right.
And I saw it very, very rusty.
Right, yeah.
At the time, which was a while ago.
Yeah. But I'm talking about the floorboards now.
The
metal
floor now.
floorboards,
The floor.
They're rusting out.
So you can drop in.
You could, if you're not, at some point, somebody's going to drive over those 2 or 3 or 4 weak spots, and it's going to cave in. And again, it's called maintenance, guys, because I've never seen a lick of paint ever put on that. You know, you have a metal structure. You have to protect metal. Look at where it is. It's in a very salty environment. Anyway, that was the first serious thing I wanted to talk about, Bing. We'll get back to other things. But I wanted to talk about something a little more pleasant now. Last year, in November it was, I think, I went to South Korea. And then this year I followed up by going to Japan for various reasons. In any event, when I went to South Korea, I went to use the washroom, Bing. Now, using the washroom is one of the pleasures in my life. Okay, Bing? It's a joy. It's a joy to eliminate the bodily waste. It's a joy. I'm going to tell you something that is going to change your life.
I have a button over here called turn off my headphone.
I am going to tell you about enjoying your life, Bingster. Most of us, when we go to the washroom, experience some sort of relief and joy and pleasure as a result of eliminating bodily waste. So I go to this thing in South Korea, and I sit down on the toilet, Bing, and there's a whole pile of these switches next to the side of the toilet.
Shady, why are we listening to this
Can
again?
I continue, please? I'm trying.
Shady, why are we listening to this again?
Can I tell you why? Because I'm about to bring a lot of potential pleasure and joy into the lives of a lot of Vincentians.
But it's already here.
So I'm in the toilet, right? Now you have to remember sometimes I have to use the toilet in North America. And when you go and sit on the toilet in North America, Bing, you know what happens? It is terrifying. Because first of all, you guys who live in this part of the world will never understand what it is like to go and sit on a toilet seat that is frigid. Now, by Max in North America will know what I'm talking about. It's cold. It's awful.
Doug Hubbard said that, yeah.
So let's talk about pleasure.
Doug, really? Really, Doug? We're talking serious
We're talking very serious
and
stuff.
that's what you come with Doug.
I go into this toilet, right? And I'm looking at all these buttons and I'm trying, what the hell are all of these things for? Something I'm sitting there. I've done my business, my number 2 business.
Why do we need to hear? Let me tell you right now.
And then I push some of these buttons, Bring.
Just to see what happens?
Just to see what happened. I'm a brave man, right? Because, you know, I'm a man, so therefore things are dangling down and could get cut off and so on.
Something should have come up and just
So
suck
wait
in,
now.
pull in.
So next thing I feel is this jet of water, right? Bing, hitting my behind.
Why are we
And I
listening to
thought,
this in the
what
on
a
a
great
Monday morning
idea.
at 7:32?
Bing,
Why
hold
are we
on, can I
listening
tell
to
the
this?
story? Because I'm trying to tell you a story to help the rest of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Okay, go ahead.
So I tell my girlfriend about this. And lo and behold, at Christmas time, I go home and I see a device sitting on my toilet. So I push the button again, and guess what this thing does?
Same thing.
It washes your backside for you.
It's
You don't
called
need
a
to use so much-
smart toilet.
Well,
you
I'm
idiot.
just telling you. I did not know about these things. And then I went to Japan.
It is
and I
in St.
think,
Vincent.
And I think the Far East are so much more sensible than us.
It is already here.
Excuse me. My girlfriend got this for me from Amazon, right? And it wasn't very expensive. And he didn't. Now they have all kind of
that's
fancy
your gift.
versions with
That's
warm
your
seats
boat.
and
That
so
was
on.
your boat, the gift.
But Bing, it is a great pleasure to go home.
She's trying to tell you.
Go on the toilet.
Grant.
Yeah, you're full of
Grant.
crap and you need to wash your
Grant.
face. Wash it up.
Grant.
Okay, I know.
Grant. She's trying to send a message to him.
Anyway, for
Full of
those
it.
of you who haven't had this experience, I'm not promoting any particular brand here, because if they want to promote the brand, they could come in here and do it themselves. But I am encouraging all you out there, and it's not very expensive, huh? Put this, you'll save a ton load of money on toilet paper, first of all. And the joy and pleasure
Grant.
of having a clean backside
Please.
that has been thoroughly washed, Bing. It's a wonderful experience.
Yes,
I
please.
highly encourage all of you out there to
Somebody
do
help
this.
me, please. Somebody help me.
Furthermore, it should be put into all offices where there's public facilities, so that people who go in there can do a better job of cleaning themselves. Because I hear some horror stories, Big. I watch what some
Are
people
you
do in
saying,
toilets
are
in
you
this
saying
country.
that all politicians, the House of
Well,
Parliament,
since you mentioned it, I have said before, and I will repeat again.
in the House of
I will
Parliament,
repeat this saying that
especially,
I'll repeat
should have this?
Especially they should have that. Of course, it wouldn't help. But apparently, what somebody once told me, Dave,
But so
what
you have
I
a new
read,
toy. You have
What
a new
I,
toy.
oh yeah, it's fantastic, but it's wonderful. And apparently you can get them with hot water too, or cold. No, in the Caribbean you don't need all those fancy things. But I tell you, if I'm in North America and I put on that cold water hit me. Oh boy, that could get really ugly.
But
So Bud lives in Florida. What the hell does he know about cold?
Bud say you
So-
just go just for spite.
So
You
let's
just
talk,
go.
let's talk about the politicians for a minute, because they say that politicians are like diapers, right? I want to repeat this story.
Babies, like babies.
No, they're like diapers, right? Because they should be changed very often and for exactly the same reason.
They're full of it.
Why do you change diapers?
Because they're full
Because
of
they're
it.
full of you doo-doo. And that is what politicians are also.
But so what are
there
you
go.
saying in St. Vincent? St. Vincent and the
We're a
Grenadines
special
is full
place.
of we're
We are
full
not.
of,
You always say St. Vincent is not a real country. I say to you, St. Vincent is a very special country.
so you say because we don't change our politicians at all.
You
We're full of
interpret it how you want. Okay, we are a really special country. That's all I have to say. We're a special place, Bing. Very special. Will you not agree?
I certainly do agree. We're special.
So you see, I've
we're
done two
special
wonderful
people.
things this morning in my public service role.
Yeah.
Trying to get people to fix Argyle, which is a very
And to
small thing
experience
to fix.
the
And I'm
smart
trying
toilet.
these people, boy, you need to experience
The
the
smart toilet.
pleasure of getting your behind washed
And that is
every
your-
morning or
that-
afternoon or whenever you do your do thingies.
And
It's
that
a wonderful experience.
And
You've
that
never had this,
is
have
your
you?
contribution to
Have
society.
you ever done it?
To society. That is your contribution to society.
Bing, it is a wonderful contribution I am making.
To
Anybody who
use
has
is-
one of those could call in
use
and
is
tell us the
smart
joy.
toilet.
The joy. Have you ever had
Shady.
The first time you
Shady.
hear about it, it
Shady.
sounds kind of
We've
strange. But
had
when you do it,
a
Bing,
doctor,
oh,
a
pleasure
medical
and joy.
doctor,
Yes.
and the businessman
Yes.
came into the studio and promoted that smart
Really?
toilet.
I didn't- I
Yes.
wasn't aware of that.
Yes, you
It's
were
a-
away. You
No,
were
I
away.
wasn't
You were
aware.
away.
But
You
I
were
tell
away.
you something.
That's
I
why I tell you, it's
highly-
already here. It's
I
already
highly
here.
endorse it and recommend it.
Yes.
It is not expensive.
Yes.
It's an easy add-on.
Right.
They have all different kinds of models and stuff. You don't
Yeah.
need a fancy one. Bing. I have a very
Yeah.
simple one, that, but it's a wonderful experience. It puts you in such a good mood right
So
away.
that so you just make
You
you
should
every
try
time
that.
every time you go
Have
home
you
you just
tried
want
it?
to every time you go home you just want to just use the toilet.
Oh yeah, I just want to
Despite-
sit on the toilet and,
Just-
and do what I have to do and get myself nice and clean, and I could get up and walk around.
Let's
and
see
there's
who want to
nothing
talk to
itching
this
or
idiot.
nothing.
Talk to the cutlass for me, please. Somebody, please. Go ahead.
Stephen, I discovered that mechanism some years ago, and I have one in my man cave. Whenever I go to the bathroom, I come out, I tell my wife, talk to me nice. I'm fresh and clean.
Is it not magnificent?
Man, it's more than magnificent.
Thank
It's
you, my
magnificent
friend.
square.
How did the program delegate to talking about
But yo, no, it's very important. But here, what now? So also too, though, especially older men.
Yes. Like
If you get a low toilet,
Yes.
it pops your knee up or pops your knee up,
Yes.
and it eases up the pressure on the prostate because when you
Yes.
sit up too high,
Right.
it forces the stuff out and it pressurizes the prostate. So if you get a low toilet or at least get a little stool, they made specific stool for that to pop up your foot. But when you're done and you hit that button there underwater, go.
Well, since
Okay,
we're talking
properly.
about that, right, I should mention also that I am a very strange individual.
Very.
I think I may be an inch or two taller than the average man, and I suspect my legs are a little longer. Because when I sit on a regular toilet, it's horrible because the toilets are too low. All my houses you will go into will see that I have actually built up a little base, a 1-inch base of concrete, or a 2-inch base, and put the toilet on top of that base because it's so much more
To
comfortable.
accommodate for your type, for your height, but also when we put those ones
Why
in
are
the
we
parliament-
talking about this? When we come on, Max,
But
come
no,
on.
but hey now, Bing, when we put those ones in Parliament, I suggest some of those politicians wash their face in it because what come out of their mouth is a lot of ish.
Yeah, Max, I believe that if you turn around, right, you know, sometimes, occasionally, I told you I suffer from this Meniere's disease thing, right? And occasionally I have to go and vomit my guts out. You crawl from my bed, crawl to the toilet, put your head over the toilet, and you vomit your guts out. But you think about that really, if you apply it to a lot of these politicians too, and they go to the washroom. You know, I mean, I think that might be a very good thing.
Max, thank you
That's
very
what
much.
I told him.
Max, thank you.
All right.
Enjoy your smart toilet, buddy.
It's a wonderful thing. I tell you, you guys need to experience this. All you women out there who value your man. By the way, for the woman, the men who value their woman,
You should get them.
it also functions as a bidet, which means they clean
Yes,
both
we
areas.
know. We
I
know.
didn't know that. But I didn't know this,
The
babe.
guy came in with the doctor and they
But how am I
spoke
going?
about
I
that.
didn't know. It's a wonderful
So
thing.
you experience a smart toilet,
I
and
have
that's the greatest
experience-
thing in the
It is
world
one of
to
the
you.
greatest things in the world. It is a wonderful
After the
thing.
washing machine, that is the next
After the
greatest
washing machine?
invention.
No, after sliced bread. Actually, you don't even need to slice your bread. So after bread and period, then comes the smart toilet. It's a wonderful thing. Highly recommend all of you go and experience this. Highly recommend. How are you, buddy?
I am doing well. I am doing well. How about you? with
I
your
am
toilet
very well,
experience?
you know. I'm very well.
You know, before you came in, I was talking about the situation with this inclusion company who's buying
Yeah,
coconuts.
let's talk about that, right?
Yes.
The construction company.
Yeah, the construction
the company that came here
to have sex with North Leeward.
to
And have an orgasm.
take out all the rocks and the stone and whatever.
Yes,
Right, correct.
yes.
And are now an agricultural export
Yes,
company.
yes,
Right. Yeah.
yes.
What's
Now,
your
first
issue
of
with
all, I don't have an issue.
Okay.
I don't have an issue with the company buying,
Reno.
agricultural products
And sell-
from our
and shipping and
farmers
selling them out. Okay.
and shipping them out.
But a
Because
lot
our
of
fa-
people seem to have an issue because
our
they're not-
farmers could do it any help
Any help they can get
get
for
right
marketing
now.
and shipping.
Right.
I agree with you. I don't have an issue with
Right.
it. Somebody wrote a thing about it.
However-
Typical. Go ahead.
However, what I do have an issue with is what they came here to do originally
Yes. Has not been done.
have not been done.
Well, I
In
don't
fact,
know. You see the scar in the south
Well,
of
that's what I'm talking about this morning. How they have raped the entire that
section
whole
of North Leeward,
North
by
Leeward.
Richmond, which
Yeah.
which was a beautiful part of the country.
All the farmers
Yes,
who would have done all their work and
So they
and-
need to
and
put
the-
it back. Since
and-
apparently they can't do what they're
and,
supposed to. They need to put
and
it
nothing
back.
have been said,
Yes,
right?
yes.
The justification of raping that entire section
Yeah.
of North Leeward
Yeah.
was that we needed stones to build the port,
Yep.
to build all these big hotels,
Yep.
all these massive projects,
Yep.
and all of that.
Yep.
Okay,
That's my
so
understanding.
none of that has been done. None.
Zero.
So where the stones are coming from now, all of a sudden?
Well, first of all, the port apparently is not using that much stone from what we've seen so far in the project. It's mainly sand from what we've seen so far. I mean, I could only say what we have seen, right? Because you can't see beyond, obviously, the barriers. But it raises the whole issue being about foreign investment in your country and holding investors accountable for doing what they promised to do. You will recall, for some reason, I have in my mind it was close to 10 years ago, maybe it was less, that when we were out at Prospect, you will recall, I believe it was two gentlemen
Yes.
who came into the studio with us.
Pace International.
Pace International. And they told us, Bingy, they told me, you and I, Bing, that not only did they have 100% of the money, but the project would be completed within 24 months.
Yes.
Clearly.
And we pressed
I
them on
looked-
it.
And we pressed them, and they
on it.
convinced, and I said at that time I did not believe them. It was not possible. The same with the Royal Mill project, right? What is going on at Royal Mill? What is going on with the Black Sands project? You know, how many projects do we start that have been successfully completed?
But let's look back at Pace before
Let's
we
look
move
back
on
at
to
Pace
Pace
developments.
before we
Yes.
go on, okay?
Yes.
They have been given massive concessions.
Yes.
Of course. They said they had all of the money. Remember,
They
we
said-
asked
they
them.
said they said to us they had 100% of the money to
We
build the
asked
whole
them,
project.
We said, if are you open to other investors who may be interested?
Didn't
They
need
said
any.
They didn't need any.
Correct.
They've got all the money.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And that they were going to finish in 24 months.
Yes.
Completed. Finish open doors.
Correct.
Completed. Accepted
Absolutely.
guests
24
coming.
months.
It completed. Right.
Absolutely. They said that to us.
They said that to us.
You
We've
think
got
that
a tape of it, actually.
Yes.
We can dig up that tape, all right? 24 months have passed, so it's been almost 10 years now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It's got to be close to 10 years now.
We're hearing that the government has given them an extension.
Another 3
years.
Yeah. To do what
What-
exactly?
what?
Well, let's try and remember what that project was supposed to be about. I believe it was they were supposed to first of all build some villas, and then they were going to build this 200 or 250 room hotel, fancy resort, and all kinds of stuff down there, right? We see evidence that they've started maybe the 10 villas, right? They've actually gotten to the stage where they've painted them white now, which is nice, whitewashed them. I haven't seen any start on any hotel. Bang, we could say the same thing about Royal Mill. Look, go up there and see the size of the picture and whatever that's going on. And you know that that makes no economic sense whatsoever, right? You know that they're having serious financial issues, or else why would you basically almost stop the project and be focusing on a few quote-unquote villas? And how does it make sense, Bing, for somebody to buy these villas first? Right? Imagine that, right? And then have to wait years while you put up a 10 or 12 story ugly monstrosity in the middle of these things. Who's going to go and live in the middle of a construction site? Bing? How does that work exactly? But we're not allowed to ask questions because it makes no sense. It never made any economic sense, right? I mean, there are a lot of things you look at and you say, does this really make sense, right? And you wonder. But back to Black Sands for a minute. So these people have made promises. The Prime Minister's been quite upset with them for not carrying out their promises, apparently. And now they get another 3 years. To do what? We're not sure. Is it that because we don't know what to do now? What do we do? Do we take it from them, or do we do, or are we stuck?
But
Why are we doing this?
What's the nature of these these contracts, these agreements?
I believe a
concessions
lot
and
of
all
these things
that?
are run along most like a lot of big real estate developments in North America. And in China for that matter, because China has a real problem in their economy now because of property. Same principle. That what the real estate companies do, or the development companies, the construction companies, or the development companies who are selling and hire construction companies to build for them. They usually, certainly in North America, they build a model, like a demonstration unit.
Yes.
You
Nice,
walk in, it's nice, it's beautiful.
pristine,
And then what you try and do is
Yeah.
you try and
Sell it,
pre-sell.
yes.
You sell to people, you say,
Yes.
give me a 50% deposit or whatever it is, or 20% or 10%
Upfront.
deposit. Sign up for this for me, right?
I like the
And-
Buckerman model.
Right,
Buckerman
right, the original
model.
Buckerman model,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
then became a timeshare
Yeah,
and all
yeah,
kinds of
yeah,
craziness
yeah,
happened there. Because again, you know, we have an entity called Invest SVG, and you wonder, shouldn't they be the ones monitoring these people and reporting to us on what's going on? You know, or is it that we are so desperate to grab at anything that comes along that we don't check into the proper background of these people and what their projects have been? So anyway, the people make these deposits. They then use a combination of that money, which they usually can use to then start the project and get building while they continue selling, quote unquote. And in most common areas, what they really do is they use those deposits to run to the bank and to show the bank, listen, here's all the people who have signed up so far. We've collected a 20% deposit, whatever. Will you then lend us the money to finish this? And the banks then go ahead and lend them the money. And this is what has happened in China in particular. And China now has a serious, serious problem in their property development sector because a lot of these quote-unquote owners are now walking away from these projects. And if they're not, then the real estate people can't get the money, which means they can't keep going. It's almost like a huge Ponzi scheme if you really think about it sometimes. I need to sell you to keep going, At some point, it may catch up to you.
And then we end up with, we're a small
Yes,
island.
yes.
We end up with all these on
Concrete monstrosities.
Yes.
Right. Anybody
With
think about
grass
what happens
growing
if
over them?
Royal Mill finally gives up the ghost and it just sits there? Have you seen how ugly that thing is, Bing? Just sitting there above Calico? Think about that. Imagine if they have to come to do what they have done and they take 10, 15, 20 years. I guess when the tourists come, we could point to them and say, that was, right? What else are you going to say? So,
But who do we get these answers from? Because we have heard that the project in North Leeward
yes, Reno Construction
Yes.
Project. Yes.
was maybe that is the reason why these projects are not being completed, because they said that without the stones,
Well, I don't think
without the stones.
No, well, I don't think Reno Construction should have been given permission to do anything else in the country until they had proven, right, that they could do this project or tell us why they could not do it. I've been down there, Bing, and looked at it, and maybe there wasn't as much rock there as they thought, because from what I can see them digging out, it's a whole lot of dirt, right, before they begin to hit rock.
But
So
there-
I
there-
don't
there
know, but
was an-
nobody's
but
telling
there
us.
was an orgasm.
Yeah. Well, the orgasm is done. If you find something and you can't do it, right? Again, you wonder about the level of engineering and geological studies that we do here. I have a friend of mine who went off to UWE and studied
Comes in
geology in
backstage, eh?
Jamaica, right? And can't get a job in this country. Study geology in a volcanic island where we have Soufriere erupting, where we are now digging out rocks and stuff in North Leeward, and apparently have these proper studies been
All right,
done?
let's bring Kongso. Let's bring Kongso. He's backstage, Shady. Let's bring him in, and we continue with our discussion. Let's go, Shady.
We can see if he's used a
Stand.
smart toilet.
Plain talk. Plain talk with Jumo.
Go,
Plain-
Shady. Yeah, it is.
Plain talk. Plain talk with Jumo Thomas.
All your talk now.
On OMG.
I'm not getting any song from the stream here, though, Shady. Kongso, are you hearing us?
I can hear you clearly.
Yes, we're not in use. Shady, come check what's going on here on the stream yard. From your end, I don't know what's happening. We had some maintenance work being done yesterday, so some settings may have been changed. We're not sure.
So can you hear Jomo or you can't?
We're not hearing him.
Okay.
Hold on, Kongso. Shady is making some software changes over there. On the
I'm encouraging my friend Boat Alexander in the meantime. He said that he's dying to try it. The
What,
smart toilet.
the smart toilet?
Yeah. I bet, Butch, it'll change your life. I guarantee it. Give it 1 week, but you'll be calling in here praising this thing. It's a wonderful thing. It'll change. You know, it'll be very good for you. Highly, highly recommended. You know, so while you're waiting and trying to fix StreamYard, buddy, I got a thing because I read a lot, right, about things that you can do in your life.
Conks, are you hearing us?
Yes, I am.
Jomo, are you there?
Yes, I'm hearing you. I can hear you.
Good. Yeah, we got you.
We got you now.
Okay,
we got
good.
you now. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, yes.
We can save those for another day. Jomo, over to you, buddy.
Yes, buddy. Over to you.
Well, you all are talking about some very important issues. Those of you who read my columns remember about 7 months ago, I wrote a column that addressed the issues of foreign investments. And I highlighted the identical issues that you're raising this morning. The PACE project, which I think started with it broke wrong in 2016 or 2017, the Royal Mill project and the Black Sand project. And the point I made then is that these projects seem to be just blowing in the wind, that nothing happens, and each time we get some explanation. I was amazed that Carlos James, in talking about the 3-year extension for the Black Sand project, pointed to COVID as a reason why the Black Sand project had not gone forward. I was absolutely struck by the nonsense, because COVID was what?
Came long after.
COVID was 2020. This was a good 5 years, 4 or 5 years after the people from PACE said they had, as you correctly said, they had all the money. They didn't need any money. They had $200 million, and they were going to build this project in 2 years, 24 months. I had specifically gone down to the opening because, you know, on these kind of matters, I like to be there for myself to hear what they're saying and to see what they're doing. And a number of people in the ULP at the time had been surprised that I think it was January or February of 2017. They were surprised to see me there, and they were all kind of bets as to whether I was going to throw cold water on it and watch it come to stream. But here we are, 7 years, 8 years after, and all we have is a monstrosity. You know, like from an ancient time where you bounce into an area and you see some shells and you wondered what happened. Are they building, or are they just ancient relics of something from bygone time? And the same point, Bing, you would recall, you had raised it and I talked about it regarding the Royal Mill project, because I run past there sometimes and there was actually no activity. And I remember when we raised that, Minister of Finance Camilo Gonzalez had gone up there and said there were about 93 workers. When he went, he was able to count 93 workers. Assume that there are 93 workers. I think the point that Stephen makes is a fundamental point. If these villas were to come on stream, who is going to live in these villas where you have an open crater on which this 11-story structure is to be built? No serious person who would come to live in a villa, meaning they have some resources, would come and live in such an environmental mess. But I also made another point. Let us watch to see if these projects pick up in 2024 or 2025. Because one of the points I made in my column then was that if that were to happen, it would mean that these quote-unquote investors are not real investors. They would have to be somebody else who's doing the bidding of the ruling elite to say, okay, let's ramp up construction close to an election cycle. Because why would you be dormant for 3-4 years, and as we get close to the election, we hear that these things are happening? And you know, if you paid attention and you listen to the budget of Finance Minister Camilo Gonzalez last time, a lot of projects are supposed to be coming on stream in 2024 and 2025. The port was supposed to be finished in 2025. Royal Mill and all of those were supposed to be coming on stream. The new for Home was supposed to be finished in 2020. All of these things were, the schools were supposed to be finishing in 2024, 2025. That does not seem to be happening. So the question of foreign direct investment is a real important question, but I think that the 800-pound gorilla in the room, as it relates to 500 to foreign direct investment, has to be the Kanawan project. Correct. And the wholesale giveaway of 2/3 of Kanawan in 1990 by the James Mitchell administration. And I want to say to you that I was shocked beyond measure last week when I heard some ULP propagandists saying that it is James Mitchell who did it. Because the fact of the matter is that that act of parliament, I would say a treasonous act, which was done by James Mitchell administration in 1990, is 30 years on now. 30 years? Yeah, I think about just about 30 years, 33 years. But the ULP has been in power for 23 of those 33 years. And this lease, which gives a 99-year lease that allows for these investors to sell the land out of the leasehold, they have had a chance. There was an act in parliament which made that into law. And for 23 years, the ULP has been in power, and it has done nothing, absolutely nothing, to rescind that act, to say no. This is a giveaway of national property, and consequently, we want to revisit, and we want to renegotiate this act. I mean, an act of parliament has the presumption of constitutionality, but it does not necessarily mean, and that presumption is a high presumption to overcome in law, but it does not necessarily mean that it cannot be overcome. What I find almost disingenuous is for the ULP propagandists now to throw this on Mitchell as if it was a fait accompli when it was done. Parliaments go into session ever so often, and they would amend acts, they would rescind acts, they would create new acts. But in this case, we have the wholesale giveaway of 1,200 acres of land in Kanawan. I heard some people say, well, Mitchell had argued that it was a mosquito-infested place, and these developers were coming to bring civilization. Well, for one thing, if he said that, that was really an insult to the people who had lived there, to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines who had lived on that island for millennia. Because, mosquito-infested, as is, could we say that St. Vincent is mosquito-infested? Would we give away St. Vincent to foreign investors simply because we were existing in a state of underdevelopment? I happen to have information which says that at one point in time, 1 acre of land at Kanawan was sold for £5 million. That is, back then that might have been 20 million Eastern Caribbean dollars. But you know something? In 2089, when this lease expires, and when we are supposed to renegotiate the lease, St. Vincent would get in that year, 2089, $55,599.17. In the 99th year of the lease, St. Vincent would get, I repeat, $55,599.17.
How many jobs are created on that project, though, Jamo? Do you know?
I don't know. Why is that important?
No, I'm just asking for mine.
I'm talking about the wholesale giveaway of land.
No. You also mentioned how much the lease is going to bring.
Yeah, how much the lease is going to bring. In other words, you give away 1,200 acres in the 99. This is why I said that I happen to know that 1 acre of that land was sold for £5 million,
yes,
which is $20 million. But And that is about 10, 15 years ago that happened. So, but we are getting in the 99th year, in 2089, we will get $55,599.17. I mean, that's a fire sale. Well, it's not even a sale, it's a giveaway. So the notion that, oh, you know, people are walking down there and people are making more money than they might make on the mainland is immaterial to the fact that the lands were given away. In the same way in which the ULP gave away the lands at Peters Hope for $4.54 per square foot. And that's the big giveaway. And a similar giveaway in terms of taxes and tax receipts are happening on Mustique. The government, when you look at the way in which places like Liechtenstein or Sinbad, which are right up the islands from us, deal with issues of tax and sale and sale tax and everything else, then you see that we are not maximizing what we have. And it's not by chance that in the Grenadines, we are in such a, the place is still decrepit. Imagine that these people are making so much money, but the government has refused, but the government...
Council, hold on. I think Stephen want to come in.
I want to be careful. I want to be careful here about foreign investment, because there are benefits too, and there are downsides to it. And we need to decide. And again, this is not a fact, but an opinion as to whether it is worth it or not. All right. This is a judgment call that is made. All right. So you look at Canawan. 30 years ago, somebody decided that Mustique seemed to be being very successful in terms of creating jobs, in terms of income to people, in terms of its positive impact on the economy of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That was a decision that was made. Somebody at that point decided that Canawan could also be a similar development. Unfortunately, Canawan is not a similar development to Mustique in my view. All right, it has some very, very different challenges to it, and it was as I like to say, there's a difference in people who know how to colonize countries, right? They are, and I have to be careful what I'm saying here, obviously, but the Italians are not very good colonizers, as you know, and they didn't understand how important it is to work with local people and get them on site to buy in to the project. So they created a lot of alienation from the very beginning. And we also have to remember that that project was treated as a political football for a long time, not quote unquote a national project, which is why it's somewhat ironic now that you hear calls from certain people to say, oh, these are national things and they should be above local politics. Well, it didn't happen before, so why is it going to happen now or in the future? But in any event, when it comes to foreign investment, it's like, to me, it's almost like any other investment, right? You start off by saying, what is it that we expect to get from this? We built an airport. We had no indication specifically, in my recollection, here is what we expect as a return on that investment. Similarly, rail construction, similarly Canawan, similarly Mustique. What is it that we expect to get in return? And then we can decide if it makes sense or not. Go ahead, Jamal.
With respect, we cannot compare an airport, a hospital, or roads with a development like Canawan or Mustique. That would be a fundamental mistake, because things like airports and hospitals and roads and schools. Let me just finish it up. I'm not going to talk much longer. I'm not going to talk much longer.
What I am saying, I'm not comparing them. What I am saying is that the approach should be similar in terms of what we expect to get.
Very well.
Is a project success if you never set any goals for it in the first place?
Very well. Well, I know I can't say
we're gonna go to the top. Let's hold on. Let's take a pin right there. We're gonna go to the top. We're going past it by 4 minutes and come right back. Let's do the shady and come right back. When we come right back, we got Council, we got the Cutlass with us this morning. Let's go. Let's do this. It's Monday morning. Here we go, Shady. Bring it. Let's go.
Blazing on the air at 106.9 FM.
What does this button do? Lord,
On your phone or device at tunein.com or on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Boom SVG 1069.
The number one morning show in the SVG.
Yeah, morning.
OMG OMG in the morning.
Things I like. Party. Hey, time to party. Hey, time to party. Hey, I just want to jump. To tell me about work in the morning. Unless we talking hard work. Wine and jam. Wine up on a girl. I say you can't tell me about work in the morning. Unless we talking hard work. Wine and jam. Wine up on a girl. Well, I want to get this off of my chest. Talk about it. Talk about it. All of the girl them whining this. Talk about it. Talk about it. How you want me to leave this set? Talk about it. Talk about it. Go and sit down behind that desk. Talk about it. Hey, I taking a mental day. I taking a mental day. I need a little run away. Baby, let me good for me mentally. I taking a little jam. Nice part of my mental plan. I don't want to go to work. I go put two girl in a rental and I'm gone. Tell them I'm gone. Don't even bother calling me. Tell them.
The number one morning show in the SVG.
Morning.
OMG in the morning.
Come on now.
All right, we're back inside. We're back with Kongson. We're back with Stephen. Let's go, guys.
Joe, over to you.
The point I was making is that sometimes you hear people put up this false analogy about like trying to compare the Royal Mail or the Pace or the Canawan or Mustique projects with. I agree with Stephen that we have to have a template as to what constitutes development for us when we do something, what needs to be, what we need, what we want to get out of it. Mm-hmm. But that's a separate conversation. It seems to me the conversation which we ought to be having is whether I think that we can conclude that the Mitchell administration, for whatever reason, made a fundamental mistake, a cardinal error when it gave away 2/3 of Canawan. I think we can conclude that. Because not only did they make the lease, and tell the people they can develop it, they had a leasehold for 99 years. But within that, they told them they could sell the land. So it's possible that in 2089, there will not be a single acre of land left that reverts to St. Vincent. And that's a fundamental problem. And as I
do we know the terms under which have you seen?
I've seen the plans, right? And there is in the plans, Joe Moore, the land is divided up into.
No. I have the act. Listen, I'm not just speaking like that. I have the act.
Yep. Yeah, but in that act, you'll see
what it says.
What they can sell.
This is why 2 weeks ago the Prime Minister was complaining that what he expected in terms of development, in other words, he was hoping something to derive the benefit similar to what we get from the buying and selling of homes on Mustique. So the 1,200 acres, he probably hoped that we could have had 800 homes, high-class homes. And people would come, people would buy, people would sell, and we would get the 10% tax and the 6-7% alien landholders duty. But whether that were the case or not, it stands to reason that remains a giveaway, because we would give away every time. Let's say 800 homes are built in that space of 1,200 acres, and that the owner pays $1 million for the land. That doesn't come to us. That goes to the developer, who really is not doing anything except being a good like a real estate agent.
Okay, so let's talk solutions, though, Council now. So, what solution do you have?
Listen. Don't take me to the solutions yet. I want to lay out the problem first, because if we have the problem,
you've already done that. You've already outlined the problem, right? Several times. Do you have solutions?
Solution. What we should do, we should go to Parliament and rescind the act, or we should amend the act that does not allow this foreign entity to own 1,200 acres of land as a giveaway. That, for example, we could say, if you are able to market this, you have to give us 50% of whatever money you may get because it's our land. All they're doing is selling it. They're like a real estate agent. Stephen is a multi-millionaire. He comes down, he likes Canada, he wants to build a home. He said, look, we have an acre land over here. How much you selling it for? $5 million. 2.5 million should come to us. 2.5 million go to them, and then we get the alien land holding license, we get the tax in the sale and so on. It cannot be a giveaway.
Jomo, let me ask you a question. As a lawyer, right?
Yes.
The reality is that, yes, it's an act of parliament, but it is also an agreement signed between the two parties. So
Yes.
are we not, at some stage, I mean, the person who currently has the leasehold there, right?
Yes.
And who has the potential to benefit, and obviously an extremely wealthy man, who, by the way, has not been benefiting because my understanding is there's been no land sales in Canada in years now, 5-6 years, according to the Prime Minister, I believe. But isn't that also at some point headed for a major lawsuit then? And how long is that going to take to get resolved?
that is the boogeyman that's tossed up. But hear this: that lease is either void or voidable, and that's the big challenge the developers would have, and that is what the governments don't want to do. I can tell you as a lawyer that there's no lease. This is probably the only lease in the world where you lease land and you tell the lessee, "Look, you can sell the land." That doesn't make legal sense. And to think that a lawyer someplace in St. Vincent drafted that, and that a government of lawyers
What was the Buckama model?
sign up on it? Why you being you uncomfortable talking to anyone?
Sorry.
Yeah, what was the
I believe, Jomo, you could correct me on this, but I believe the Buckament model originally, when it was sold to the Ames people, right, is that the land was given to them freehold, or they purchased it freehold. Am I?
They purchased freehold.
Freehold.
They bought up a lot of lands in the area.
What
we
we
know,
know
was a giveaway. What we know was a giveaway is that government took the land that they got back from Ames and give it to Butch Stewart. That we know was a giveaway. In much the same way
the land wasn't sold to Ames in Buckama, as far as I know.
What was it then?
The land was leased from Punnets.
I don't know. So I can't comment. I do not know if the land was sold or leased.
Ames bought lands from the Punnets, and remember they also had some farmers in the area where the French had given some money years ago to develop.
Yes.
Some of them also sold their lands to Ames. I have a cousin who was paid quite handsomely for lands in that area.
So who did the government buy the Buckament lands from?
The government didn't buy the Buckament lands. The government simply assumed the lands after Ames fled.
Right.
And give it to
Ames owed them money.
Okay, for taxes and things
taxes, unpaid taxes, and so on. Right.
They simply took it and gave it to Butch Stewart and his outfit.
They don't say they give it to him.
They did. They gave it to him. They didn't get any money for it. It was valued $18 million. They said that.
And how much? It was valued $18 million. How much did they pay for it?
They gave it to Butch Stewart.
I'm asking how much did he pay for it?
I am telling you, they give it to Butch Stewart.
Free of cost, with no money being passed?
Do you know what it means to give? If you give me the watch in your hand, no money was passed.
Sold it for $10 million on condition of further investment.
Yes, I don't know about giving.
No, but you don't know because you don't pay attention.
I don't know about
so you can bring on the finance minister, or you can call in the prime minister and ask him how much money Butch Stewart paid him.
You could ask the prime minister.
So the government took the lands and say, "Hey, Butch Stewart, this is yours.
You must develop it." No, I don't know. I thought it was sold. I remember some comment about a $10 million purchase. That was my understanding. You can ask the prime minister.
Well, transfer the title and all that to the.
I can't remember any $10 million. What I do recall is that whatever asset they had, there was valued at about $18 million, and it was given to Butch Stewart Company. That's what I recall. Even if you recall 10 million, the easy thing for us to do is to call in the finance minister and call him, and don't let him say so. Let him show us where Butch Stewart paid the $10 million. He cannot just say so.
That'll be easy to find out anyway. So
yeah,
I mean, first of all, Jomo, there's obviously some kind of deed. I presume deeds are registered in our government, so it'd be easy to see what the purchase price is on the deed.
I know. For example, when the lands at the Pace land,
yes, They were
right?
sold. I
They
remember
were
that.
sold,
They're
and
sold.
everybody's talking about it's a
Correct.
fire
I
sale.
know that. They sold them for
it was like a giveaway
$5.24.
because
They sold,
it was like no
they
money.
sold, they
I thought
sold,
when you said it was given, Bookman land or given, I thought that's the kind of giveaway that you were talking about.
they sold,
It was
they sold 37 acres of land at Peters Hope for $5.34 a square foot.
right.
Prime beachfront land for $5.34 a square foot.
But
They got $6 million for 37 acres of land. You gotta be silly to be doing things like that.
Yeah, but sometimes,
And
Jomo,
still-
Jomo,
and
sometimes don't you do these things to bring investment into the country
No.
to help?
Yes,
Hold on, let me finish. To help create employment and things like that.
Yes, you do. But here the trade-off, right? If you are doing that, you do it with reputable investors who can come in and do something, develop it on time.
And
We are
you
now-
say,
hold
do you
on,
think
sir. Hold on, please.
Sanders not a
We are now-
reputable investor?
We are now 8 years on, and the minister said they have given the guys another 3 years.
Yeah, we know that is craziness. But with regards to Sanders and Butstrode, do you think that that's a reputable investor?
Well, I know they have a very strong anti-working class streak.
What do you mean?
I know they do. I know they don't subscribe to unions and any
No,
such thing.
in terms of being a reputable investor.
Of course,
do you
Bush the Stewart Beach Sandals and Sandals project are renowned across the region.
Okay.
But I talked to my colleagues in Grenada and in the Cayman Islands where they closed down, and they don't have a good reputation in terms of work employee relations. I know that for a fact. It is true that they.
Well, I think let's wait and see how they perform and function in St. Vincent. No, I think
Well, if your neighbor's house is on fire, better start pulling up buckets. Yeah?
No, I want to disagree with Bing on that one. I think you have to lay down the guidelines of what your expectations are. Again, from the beginning, I go back to you can't bring in foreign investors or Sandals or whoever and say you can do whatever you like.
No, of course not.
And then
of
later
course
on
not.
and say, oh, well, these are the new rules now.
That's why we have.
These need to be settled.
That's why we
now.
have Black Sands
Yeah,
the
correct.
way it is now.
Yeah, you have to
Right?
tell people what they have to do and what.
But you just said wait and see how they can perform.
No. You said you give an example of how they performed in Grenada and somewhere else. I'm saying that's their experience.
And there have been some islands, I believe, like Tobago, I believe, subject to being corrected, that decided they didn't want Sandals there because they didn't think it was a good deal for them and their people. I believe I can't 100% correct.
Yeah,
that.
I personally think
right.
Sandals
I forgot
is an
Tobago.
excellent brand to be associated with St. Vincent and the Grenadines for a number of different reasons.
Look, it would be a good.
We can't say Jomo.
Joseph, it would be a good thing if we can get some reputable brands to come in and set up hotels. Nobody's arguing against that. Nobody argues against that. It would be a good thing if the Canawan project takes off and the government renegotiates and say, look, you see all these lands we leased you, you have to start developing them. I didn't hear what Stephen heard about the 6 years, nothing happened. You have to, in the same way in which they went to Chatham Bay and took back the lands, take it back from them and give it to somebody else. Let somebody else do it. But you can't just let people give away our lands. People can sell it. You have a leasehold and you can sell for whatever you want to sell for. And then you hold. Remember some time ago, a few years ago, when one of the developers down there just in a show of power just sent home like about 200 workers. Remember?
So, Jomo, do you think the Prime Minister is going to do anything about the Canawan situation?
No, he's not going to do anything. Fidel many years ago said it beautifully. He says some of us have become accustomed to sucking on the honeycomb of power, and when that happens, we like it. We know what we are getting.
But
so
Jomo, if you read the act, right, or the legislation, or the agreement, whatever you want to call it, it is clear that the current people are in violation of several major.
Oh, without a doubt. Look, I'm gonna write on it next week.
A very strong position to.
I'll out myself now. I'm gonna write on this on Friday coming. So I hope you read it.
Likewise, the Black Sands agreement, the Black Sands were given 3 years extension.
Yes.
So why give them 3 years and leave and do something else
It
somewhere
depends
else.
upon what the terms of that addition was. If you give them 3 years but subject to certain terms, you could do the same thing with Canada One, is what Jomo's saying. We'll give you more time, but in return, you have to make these commitments and we have to make these changes.
That's it.
Right? We get
That's
a
why I
chance to do that
said
and say
the
going
least,
forward.
the
Instead
least
of
in
saying
law.
have to build within a certain time period, those kinds of things.
The act, even though the act, the kind of one Resort Development Act is an act of parliament, and acts of parliament has a presumption of constitutionality. I can tell you right now that this presumption, if it is challenged constitutionally, will fail.
All right, but we're gonna take a quick call.
And if we take the lease is either void or voidable. I am absolutely convinced it's void.
All right, Council, you want to take a call? The phone line's been going all since you guys. You mind, or do you call a good morning quickly?
No, let's go.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Now, I want to ask something different, and I want you guys' honest opinion. Now, we advertise and boast about when Virgin came, Cal, and all these other L, right? But we have an underground agreement, it seems like, that happens every Saturday night, very late, close to midnight, where there's flights I heard coming from Northern Caribbean, Haiti, and a flight coming from South America, Colombia, brings people from north to here, and then the Colombia flight takes people from here back down to Colombia. I mean, what is this arrangement?
Caller, I saw comments about those same things on social media, and I didn't know whether it was true or not. So I guess the first thing we have to establish is that true?
Yes.
And if it is true, then the public has a right to ask questions.
Have you seen?
My understanding is that the airport closes at a certain time.
Have you seen this happening for yourself, caller?
This is why I asking questions in the media, because I've been awoken like 1 o'clock in the morning with big planes taking off.
So you've seen this yourself?
Yes.
Okay. Well, do you have legitimate questions to ask in that case?
Right.
What was the question, Stephen?
Who is paying for the airport to stay open from
That's
10
correct.
o'clock to 1 o'clock?
Yep. Jomo?
So
I didn't hear what you call us.
Investigate and see if we can get some answers.
Okay, caller. Jomo didn't hear. So
Jomo?
what
Jomo, the caller is saying...
Thank you, caller.
Thank you, caller.
Yeah.
Jomo, the caller is simply saying that apparently flights seem to be landed on Saturday nights between 12 and 1 o'clock in the morning and taking off. Big planes, apparently, who seem to come and go. And he's simply asking, what is that all about?
People coming into St. Vincent, or they just using St. Vincent as a transshipment?
Nobody knows, but apparently they land and take off, and we don't know.
Well, that's a legitimate question for the opposition. Well, for people to talk about, and certainly for the opposition to go to Parliament and get answers.
Yeah.
Caller, good morning. You're live.
Good morning. I'm rooting for Sandals. They have a good, big advertising budget, and so St. Vincent doesn't have a big advertising budget like Sandals, so they could promote St. Vincent along with the other islands. So I believe it. I believe the Sandals would work out.
We'll find out.
Thank you, caller. Thank you. All right.
Everybody's entitled.
I would hope it works out.
I also hope it works out. But Sandals are very good at promoting sandals, which is what they should be. They're not necessarily promoting a particular country. Sandals basically are an all-inclusive kind of resort.
But I also read that Sandals is in negotiation with JetBlue and another airline.
Sandals negotiating with JetBlue.
Yeah,
because Sandals negotiating with JetBlue. Listen to what you're saying.
Yes.
Sandals negotiating with JetBlue to bring a plane to St. Vincent.
Yes.
Listen to what you're saying.
Yes.
Listen to what you're saying.
I repeat
how is a private company
as large as Sandals, who's got a bigger advertising budget than St. Vincent and the Grenadines?
Joseph, this is why I'm asking you to listen to what you are saying. You are saying that a private company is negotiating with another private company to bring an airline into a sovereign country.
And what is wrong with that?
Okay,
explain to me. I honestly don't know what is wrong. What is?
Well, I would think the state authorities would be the one. The tourism department of the state authorities would be the one who would be negotiating with a private airline to come into St. Vincent. I don't see how a private company does that. Look, I remember years ago, right? Years ago, because you see, I always say we have to remember not to forget. Years ago in Jamaica, when Butch Stewart used to run Air Jamaica, well, when Butch Stewart was part of Air Jamaica, right? Well, owned Air Jamaica, he had a controlling interest in it. And the Jamaican government, remember a time when you used to pay the departure tax?
Yes.
And then later on, they rolled it into the airline ticket.
Yep.
And there was a big scandal in Jamaica about millions of dollars not being turned over from the departure tax with the same Air Jamaica, with the same Butch Stewart.
Yep.
I don't know if you all remember that, but I believe the charge is to remember, not to forget. Because as Stephen says, a lot of these companies are into business for making money. They are not here to make St. Vincent look good. If St. Vincent looks good, that is incidental to them making money. But I think that I have outlived my usefulness. So I would simply say to you, until we meet again.
Jomo, thanks, buddy. But these are very, very important things that have to continually be aired and talked about, because if we have decided that tourism and foreign investment is the way to go, we need to be very clear about the pros and cons of what is happening.
Precisely.
As well as those who are already here already, and what are we doing to fix the problems we have, because we're not fixing them now. Canawan has been a mess for a lot of years. Black Sands is not seeming to go anywhere. Royal Mill is not seeming to go anywhere.
Remember, we were told the Melia Group, which is this international tourism development company, was supposed to come and do Moncton.
Marriott.
What has happened to that?
We don't know.
Anyway, Kong, so we got to go.
Take care. We have to.
Thank you. We got to take a quick break. All right, come right back. Until tomorrow morning, buddy. Thank you very much. Let's take this quick break and come right back. We got Mr. Weeks coming up. Let's take it.
Patriot Company Limited. With services like Terrazzo Construction, Terrazzo Restoration, Terrazzo Maintenance, Concrete Grinding, Pressure Washing, Janitorial Services, Carpet Cleaning, Home and Office Cleaning. We offer services at affordable prices. Call us.
What you gonna do when the rain is coming down? Nothing more to do when there's no one else around. Bring it back to the middle, push, take it back to the rhythm. Keep it up for good when the sky's falling down. All you gotta do is to bring it to the ground. Get it up to the beginner, stop, it down. Nobody can get what you're going through.
gmail.com. The Patriot Company Limited. Service at its best.
Fly this summer with Inter-Caribbean Airways. Flights from St. Vincent to St. Lucia, Grenada, Barbados, and onward connections to Dominica, Antigua, St. Kitts, and Guyana. To book your flight, visit intercaribbean.com.
That's what you should do. You'll see these signs, do what's right. Put a stop to child abuse. See, suspect, say.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
Detailed information, such as the color of the hair and skin, color of the clothing, will play a critical role in
This
following
is locally
authority
made. My name is
investigation.
Jillian Cruikshank. Join us on IKTV Channel 1.
To keep its performance even in extremely dark scenarios. ColorView. View in color, even in darkness.
Find out more at Paladin SVG Inc. at
at telephone number 784-457-7241.
Welcome to Lane's Hardware Plus, Arnoldsville. For
This
convenience.
is locally made. My name is Jillian Crookshank. Join us on IKTV channel 112, where we premiere and air Locally Made, a program featuring locally made produce right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We'll show you how it's made and how it is done. Remember, every Thursday, 8 p.m. on IKTV channel 112.
Hardware Plus.
Find that at Corazes. We have everything for your home at Corazes. Located in Kingston, located in Annisville. Down Brock, Diamonds and Backwell. Shop at Corazes. Hardware Corazes. Helpful place Corazes. One place Corazes. Corazes.
Hospitality.
Paladin SVG Inc. Alarm Solution is second to none. We offer intrusion alarm systems, security radar, active infrared beams, and emergency alarm systems. Get perimeter protection for your premises. Active infrared beams protect large areas. Our radar video linkage solution sends data to PTZ cameras for active target tracking, so you can take immediate action. Intrusion alarm systems offer reliable protection and records video the moment the alarm is triggered and sends footage to users via email or the app. Intelligent alarm systems mean you can control your home from anywhere in the world. Find out more at Paladin SVG Inc. at telephone number 784-457-7241.
September, Woodsy, Brooklyn, New York. We're gonna be there.
Here's our vibe on OMG in the morning with a real bad
Hey, we gotta jump into Mr. Weeks segment, the most loved man on the radio. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
You know that now?
I thought you were the most loved.
No, Mr. Weeks, he's up now, coming up now. All right, Shady, let's bring him quick. 451-1069. That's the number for Mr. Weeks to call us. He'll be with us right now.
Time to connect with the most loved man on radio. Sir Lancelot is in the building.
Yeah.
He's not yet, buddy. Sorry, he's not in the building. I don't know.
He will be.
You were talking about, that's him, I believe.
That's him there, yeah. Yes. Good morning, Mr. Weeks.
Yes, he's here, Stephen. Good morning.
It's Bing who said good morning. Stephen didn't say good morning.
Good morning, Lansford. How are you?
Good morning.
Same thing.
I only have a few minutes because I've got some consultant people down from Canada that I have to go and meet. So I've only got a couple of minutes, but I wanted to stay and say good morning to you, Mr. Weeks. How are you?
I know how it is with you, Stephen. You bring money to the country.
Well, we try. It's the right thing to
do. We love you for that.
You don't share. You just bring what is he doing it? Smart toilet. Mr. Weeks, he spent his money on smart toilets.
Bing.
Yes, sir.
Last week I am saying I can't sit down to eat anymore. Every time I take a bite of my food, somebody talking about it. And this morning, Steve will come and he continue the conversation.
About what?
You were talking.
Every time I sit down, Bing, literally, every time I sit down to eat. Well, I can't. It's probably good marketing.
Okay.
I hope they're not offending sufficient people to.
Is it the toilets you're speaking about?
Yes, Bing.
Lansford, you need to try this thing, buddy, and then you'll see why those of us who are. You need to try this thing.
Stephen said he's going to make a donation to the House of Parliament.
Stephen.
Yes, sir.
You ever heard about gateway drugs?
Gateway drugs. I know that. Yeah, you start. That's when you start with a small one, and then you continue to grow, and you go. So smart toilets or gateway toilets?
I mean, this is something we all have to do, so we need to do it in comfort. That's what I'm suggesting to you.
Yeah, I do it in comfort. Yeah.
And by the way, I mean, how many times I will go into my toilet,
we don't need to hear this.
And I would end up sitting there 15, 20 minutes reading. It's so comfortable. It's a wonderful spot.
Especially, and more so now, right?
Even now.
And then, Stephen, you get that spot. Masturbate.
What did you say? Get that spot to do what?
That spot. Masturbated with warm water. And then what next?
I can't believe you.
Wonderful thing. Highly recommended.
Dexter was said Mr. Weeks is funny. Gateway, huh?
Oh, Lord. Lansford, how was your weekend, buddy?
Boy, sorry. I can say boy, yeah, man, because you and I same age, so we were boys when we were boys, so I can say boy. I had such a great week.
Wow.
Last week. After I spoke to you guys, I think you were here on Monday when I spoke to you guys.
Yes, he was.
And then Bing went home moping.
As usual.
And Tuesday morning, I went into the forest, Stephen.
Oh, nice.
And I sat on a riverbank.
That's smart.
Sorry?
Was it a
ignore
smart
him, Lansford, ignore him. You're being stupid.
where you can hear the river flowing below. That's a very important river.
You end up lost then.
And
Lansford,
yeah.
I mean, this is why I guess I get so upset and irritated. But St. Vincent is such a physically beautiful country.
Yes.
And you don't have to go very far to experience the beauty. Right?
I heard you this morning.
Like I'm just walking behind Argyle there, where Araraquois is and so on, right? It's a spectacularly beautiful country. That's why I get so upset at the politicians who seem not to care about doing the simple things right.
The problem, Stephen, is sometimes we give the politicians responsibility that are not there.
Yeah.
Well, it's not their responsibility, because this morning I heard you talking about the bridge.
Yes.
And what the average Vincentian may not know is that the roads in St. Vincent and the Grenadines are almost literally owned by the chief engineer.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You see, if that bridge is to collapse and injure anybody, or anybody get injured, the chief engineer would have done.
But Lansford, if these people don't do their jobs, why are they still in those positions? Because who puts them in those positions? It's the politicians.
Who makes the decision? Who makes the decision?
Because, you see, on mornings like this, we come here and we talk as though it's not their jobs to do. We talk about it as though it's somebody else's job.
Yeah.
And so they cannot do it. And we will feel, or we make others feel, and make them feel, well, it's okay, because it's not my job, it's somebody else's own.
Yeah.
But the point is,
but no accountability is the point.
Yeah, but not just that. The chief engineer has to have money to do his job. So the policy makers, the people who has to decide, well, okay, then I'm going to allocate this so that the chief engineer can do his job.
Being every time we talk about an issue, we give a reason. Being the chief engineer has a responsibility to, with the people who work with him, that based on what this Stephen described it, the chief engineer has a responsibility to go and prevent traffic from flowing on that bridge.
Well, that's what I'm telling you. Another simple thing we could do here. Let's go to our police and traffic, right? when you're going out in the afternoons, if you can't turn right at the airport, right? Because and even then, let's assume before they put up the red cones, if you leave at 2:00, you can turn right going down by the where the E.T. Joshua place is, right? And then of course you have a traffic jam where it is where everybody gets together at the top end by where Ace is there, because traffic going both ways. Why is it that we can't make that a one-way thing? If you turn, just go further down and turn right at the entrance just past Graves.
Graves.
Why is that so hard?
If you got to go to the pharmacy at East,
you can turn around and go back.
How do you get
You
there?
turn right and you just turn right and go back.
No,
into the
as it
pharmacy.
is now. How do you get to Ace Pharmacy as it is
You
now?
drive all the way around and go back around. But why would you not do a simple turn like that if that is now a major road?
Because we're gonna build a modern hospital.
What does that have to do with going through the road there and fixing the road?
Stephen, that is not a major road yet because that bridge over on the other side is still fragile.
Well, it's not that fragile, Mr. Weiss, because the police don't seem to ever care about stopping. I have yet to see them stop anybody, and I've seen some ridiculous numbers over there,
before
and
three,
nobody does
before
it.
3, it's open.
Yep.
It goes back to the point that I have made at the very beginning.
Yep.
That the chief engineer, I am almost certain, knows that there's a risk.
Yep. With that bridge.
And he will be the one to be held accountable. And therefore must take certain action.
No, but if the police have said that, if the chief engineer says this bridge could only take 3-ton trucks or 5-ton, whatever it is, why do police not enforce that? Why is it that you never see a policeman there who has ever pulled over a truck to say, you can't go this way? Sorry, this is only for cars only and pickup trucks. Anything above that, you have to drive around. Why is that never happening?
I hear the police talking about it. I can't say that they were there and have seen a truck.
Speaking about the police, who's giving the police the command to do these things now? The
same person was before.
Who? Which is who?
The Minister of National Security.
No, but he's not a police officer.
Being when you're not there, somebody gives your workers a command, right?
Yes.
I don't understand why we behave like the dotish, you know.
But you know, I have to ask you now, because I am not dotish, and I know you're not dotish. Do you know who's going to be the next
No, I
commissioner of
don't
police?
know. I don't know, Bing.
Have
But
you heard?
I know that there's somebody who, if not acting, is in charge of the police force. There's an officer in charge.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know who it is.
There are many officers. There are many commissioners of police.
Mr. Weeks, there seems to be a lot of actors in various positions. And they seem to act for a very, very long time, including some people who don't get promoted because of their political determination that they don't toe the line. I assume that is the only reason, because, you know, I mean, when we get a chance, we'll talk about Grant and Jomo's articles and comments about promotions. But I have to run. Now, Mr. Weeks, I have to run. Take good care.
Yes, I have two important matters to talk about that I am going to talk about this morning.
Yes.
I don't want to be... The conversation that you guys are having is important.
Yes.
Government can take people private land and give it to others.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Yes.
Government purchased that land.
Which land? The Buckament land?
The Buckament land.
Right.
Government purchased it.
Oh, because
Those lands were, well, not all, because Buckament, the investors didn't own all of the land there. But government purchased that. In any case, that property was in court in another jurisdiction. And if government was to simply take it and give it away, Sindinsa will not see the end of it.
Yeah.
Then you must have remembered that $43 million that the government had to borrow, pay for the land.
Definitely. It just didn't make any sense to me, Mr. Weeks.
And then
government
from them.
Government give the land away. What sense?
Sometimes I wish the legislation is smart enough to be able to edit out the what's the word? Adjective. The adjective.
I'm working on that.
Yeah.
I'm working on a beep.
Stephen, I understand that you have to run. I wish you were here to that we can have this conversation.
But Mr. Weeks, I was the one who was saying to Jomo Council that when he was saying that government give the lands to both Stuart Sanders, And I was saying, but that doesn't make any sense.
But you know what happened? You know what is your problem, Bing? You're a blasted bully. So anybody stand up to you curl your tail between your leg and your run.
No. I have to allow the conversation to happen.
Yes.
But it doesn't make any sense. Why would government take prime land and give it to Butstrode?
I don't know, but
and Council Jomo was a part of that big discussion, that big argument about the monies which were borrowed to buy the land from the people.
Yes, from the company that owned it. Yeah, because it remember it was in receivership.
Yes.
Our government will take a property that is in receivership and give it to another company. It's crazy. And in Canada, one of the things we have to ask ourselves, the parcel of land that was sold for $5 million or whatever the sum is, in 1990, had you cut out that same parcel of land, how much it would have been valued for, and who would have bought it? Then you must not try to defend issues when you don't have the information.
What did I try to defend, Mr. Weeks?
Just leave it.
All I said was these foreign direct investment, there's a reason why governments would do what they do to try to get foreign direct investment into the country.
That's what I'm saying, but you cannot sustain the argument. So in situations like that, you just leave it. You don't have all the information.
Sometimes you just...
But it's a bigger analysis that has to be done. You can do financial analysis and you can do economic analysis. This is something I have been saying for the longest while. And both of them may use the same information, but you would end up with different results in terms of the recommendations that you make to proceed. Panel 1 is clearly an economic proposition. I heard Prime Minister Gonzalez give 4 options as to how we can solve the problem in Grenada. In Canawan. There's a reason why Grenada comes to my mind. And there are 2 of them that I believe we are at that point. One, I don't remember what he called it, but in that option, you can start refusing to give work permits and cancel persons work permits and stuff like that. That's the first one I think he gave. And I believe it is time for us to start doing that. And if we can do that, so that we can get Canada 1 solved, we will jump straight to the 4th one. Then I bet you didn't hear what the 4th one is. Revolution.
What?
Revolution.
Do you find that in the context in which it's been said?
I said the Prime Minister said that's one of the options.
Revolution.
I know that don't pique your interest, but I have 2 things I want to talk about. I love that conversation you guys were having this morning. It exposes the ignorance of some people and so. But honestly, I want to talk about 2 things related, but one being, I agree with Stephen that there's so many beautiful places to see in St. Vincent. I remember I saw you on that same riverbank many years ago in your hot red vehicle. You remember that one thing? Big and cute?
Yes, I remember that big. Yes.
And I saw somebody over the years, these pants carried different names. But somebody was sitting on the back of that vehicle and I know they were enjoying themselves. No, your memory short, so you remember them things there. But anyway, on a serious note, yes, there are many things to do in St. Vincent, and that place is that whole Georgetown, Soufriere area has a rich history. It has really good diversity. It's so important to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And the persons, when they come to St. Vincent, they love to go into that place. But they want to get information about the place. They want somebody to be there to tell them about the diversity. They want somebody to the biodiversity. They want somebody to tell them about the history and the geography and so. And the persons who do that, we call them tour guides. But tour guides need training being. And we can make the same argument for the Vermont area, that whole valley, from all the way from Bocamont, all the way up that valley. Lots of beauty, lots of biodiversity, lots of things to see. And they need that area need tour guides as well. And the science initiative for environmental and conservation education, for short, it's called SCIENCE, SVG Science, is given persons in those two areas, that Georgetown area and in that valley down there, 15 on each side, an opportunity to be trained in tour guiding. It's an activity that's coming very soon. And if anybody that is listening to me is interested in capitalizing on that opportunity, I suggest that they go on the Facebook Science SVG Facebook page, and DM the organization. Send them a direct message to say on Facebook Messenger to say that I am interested, and because the training is coming soon, 15 in each area. The training is coming soon. It is going to be completely free. I think in both cases you would be facilitated in getting to the training venue, and even when you are doing the practical out in the environment, you would be facilitated as well. So if you're interested, please take action now.
Okay.
Because in short order, that opportunity, well, it is available now, but in short order, it will be provided. The training would be for 2 to 3 weeks. And the persons who are conducting the training they're not only knowledgeable, but they're very skilled because they're practitioners in the field. They themselves do tour guiding. These are highly trained persons, a veterinary doctor who practice as a wildlife vet in an earlier life. A person who is trained in conservation biology. And then you would have ex-forestry officers and even some current ones to conduct the training. It's good. So take the opportunity, those who are listening and are interested. And if those of you who are listening and know others who might be interested, and I'm talking about people from in Georgetown, that Georgetown area, and from that Bocamont, Vermont, that area in that valley there. So that's one thing.
Okay.
The other one is for the children, and the information is coming from that same organization. So that's the organization that had the children's workshop during the summer up at the Anglican Pastoral Center. And I believe if there are any parents whose child or children participated, they would have a good appreciation of what I'm talking about in terms of the quality of the training, the education that is provided. Because what is happening being that these folks, they provide information, science in a format that brings children and others who are involved to have a good appreciation for science. Because you teach science without saying you're teaching you science. They teach using experiential, meaning you allow the participant to experience what is happening. And they combine the science with the art. And children who hitherto would say, I don't have any interest in science, but they participate in these activities and they become the best lovers of science. The organization is going to restart its Saturday morning program where children 7 to 17, and I think this year they want to expand it to include the 3 to 6 year old or 4 to 6 year old as well. You're intending to have a group of those children as well. Every Saturday morning, it is expected to be at the Botanic Gardens. And again, this activity is free.
Mr. Weeks, well, I'm sorry, I'm cutting you for a very good reason. I just got a message on my personal phone. Someone is asking if they want to contribute financially to this initiative. Can I give them your number to make contact with you?
Yes, you can give them my number, or the person can go to, as I said, the Science SDG Facebook page and they can communicate with. But yes, you can give them my number.
Okay,
well. Yes. Yeah, so again, I'm saying this thing would be free for the children. It's expected to be at the Botanic Gardens. And again, it is going to start soon. So I'm encouraging parents. Your child don't have to want to be a scientist at current, but it isn't, because we know how science is taught in school as early as in the primary years. There are also teachers who go there and give the children a whole notebook of notes to prepare them for an exam. When all that notes and better written in some instances, and I'm not bashing the teachers. I love teachers. But in many instances, the notes are available, better written on the internet and elsewhere in the textbook. So what we need to do is to provide another approach to the children to learn and to appreciate the science. As I said, we integrate the arts. These people integrate the arts. For example, in the summer workshop, when they were teaching, I forget the big word for it, but about the insects, you didn't just give them notes and tell them insects have how many legs and so forth. You actually had them observing the insects. And before they do that, you get them to make the instrument that you're going to capture the insect without harming them necessarily. So they sit down and they screw nets, SCW nets, and they get the bamboo. They went outside and they got the bamboo and make this device that they caught the insects. They observed them without killing them, and they were taught to take them back to where you got them and release them, because it was a no-kill exercise. You were not killing any insect. So it's this kind of approach. The program supports the school curriculum. In other words, whatever is taught there are supposed to be taught in the schools as well. But you're not teaching it in the same way it is taught in the schools. So I'm encouraging parents, guardians who have children in that age group and who are interested. Again, it is on Saturday morning. More than likely, it would be at the Botanic Gardens. It will be free to the parents and the children. The only cost that is involved is getting your children there or your child there on time and picking them up at the end of the exercise.
Okay. You know, Mr. Weeks, you speaking about that remind me of something, an experience, not an experience, something that took place on last week during the week early. I met a friend of mine, Woodsy, local Woodsy, not the one in New York, the local Woodsy. And he was driving, coming from somewhere. I said, What are you doing? What are you doing in this area? He said he went to give a child a ride. He said he saw this child on the road struggling with this massive book bag on her back. A young child, big, with a lot of books. And he felt, and he's wondering why these children given so many books to go to school that he had to, took him off of his path just to give this child a ride because he saw the child and felt sorry for the child because of this massive book bag with all these books in the bags. Oh, when are we going to change, Mr. Weeks? When are we going to, we give the children computers and all of that, and we still giving these children these massive books in their bags, and their bags they're so heavy. It's crazy.
I empathize with the children thing, and you know what it is. And again, even when you started talking, I was here in my own mind laughing at myself, going back 100 years ago, when I got entry into the grammar school.
Mm-hmm.
You know, coming from a rural area where I went to school. The first time I put on any footwear to go to school, then. First time in my life I put on any footwear to go to school. And I use the word footwear deliberately. I didn't say shoe. I said footwear because I want to include slippers and the like and anything else. Is when I went into town to write the scholarship exam. But the point though is after I was successful and gained entry into the grammar school, when I collected the books, because in those days the people who got the scholarship, the government scholarship in those days, because yes, government gave scholarship to go to secondary school once upon a time. I got one. And they had a revolving book loan scheme in a sense, because they give you the books at the beginning of the school year and you return them at the end. So those who have scholarship afterwards can get those books to use if they're still in usable condition. Same principle as what is done now. But the point is being, and I say all of that to come to the point that you made. And this is why I'm laughing after myself, because when I collected the books and went home, I told my mother I needed a suitcase to take these books to school. There were so many. But yes, we have to use the technology, you know.
Yeah. Why are we giving computers? And you know, it's
yes.
I feel it for these children, you know, and I gotta tip my hat off to Woodsy. And anyway, that's the type of person he is anyway. You know?
Yeah. There's so many dangers in these devices. Smarter than most of us. Even those of us who want to pretend not to be smart, that every morning you get up and you send a link to somebody to make a particular point that you're fine, and you know. And you and I know thing. That person didn't go any way to get that link. That the phone smarter than them. And realize that's what they want to hear. That's what you're interested in. I give you that every morning. So there's so many dangers there. But we live in a dangerous world and we have to guide our...
But we're physically harming our children though.
Yes, I
physically harming them.
Well, especially if you don't teach them how to carry these these items properly. Because I know when I was that age that you're talking about, I carried load that was much heavier than the books that you're talking about. I don't know that it did me any harm. I think it did me good. But I agree with the point that you're making. There are more efficient ways of doing things, and you can stick with it simply because I did it 100 years ago when I was that young. Yeah, we have to get with it and provide guidance to our children so that they can use the available technology. They can use it wisely and they can benefit from it. I agree, and I want to join with you in commending Woodsy. And even that in itself is so dangerous thing. We live in such a dangerous world now, you know. And I'm not saying this thing to discourage persons who can help from helping. It's a perfectly good thing that Woodsy did. But when we do these things, we have to be careful. And even the children who are getting the ride, they have to be careful as well. Boy or girls.
Thank you.
Unless you have any other question.
That's it.
That's my contribution to today.
Going past the top. We'll touch base again. I'm sure we'll do that before Thursday. I'm sure that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm glad you're. By the way, I didn't say good morning to Shady and to the rest of the listeners and to Pastor.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Weeks.
Thank you, Ben.
Yeah,
Thank
we'll
you
be
for
in
having
touch.
me.
All right, thank you. Enjoy having you. All right, listen. Speak about Woodsy. We got the other before we jump off. Before we do station ID, let me remind you, my other buddy Woodsy. Yes, man. He having a big celebration coming up. He having a massive birthday bash. Yeah. If you we can't share you can't go. You have no V in your Z. In your A, all right? Listen, Brooklyn, New York City, stand up. It's your turn because Woodsy is having his massive birthday bash. And you heard about it before. You're going to hear about it again. Yeah, but I got to tell you about it myself. On Saturday, the 23rd of September, look out for Woodsy's big birthday bash. 1133 Caxton Avenue, Brooklyn, New York City. Limited tickets are available right now for only $40. All right, but get this. Between the hours of 9 and 11 p.m., because it's a birthday party, you eat and drink for free. Yes, open bar. You drink for free. Yes, you heard that right. For 2 hours between 9 and 11 o'clock, you drink and eat for free. Because it's his birthday party and he having a birthday party. What's that kind of what? Hurry up and come down, buddy. Hurry up and come down. Yeah? For free. He will be doing that. All right? Of course, you can get your packages, your bottle packages, $250, which give you 1 bottle, 2 tickets, 1 table to be served by a beautiful young lady. Of course, you get your appetizers. That's for $250, your $450 package. You get 2 bottles, top shelf we're talking about here. We expect nothing less. Yeah, 4 tickets, tables, and 2 appetizers. And the good one, the one for me, Shady, the Cuban Cutlass. Yeah, and Grant, Nipsey, my buddy. Nippy. Let me change the name because me illegal when you go home. My mother. Yeah, for $650, 3 bottles, 6 tickets, a table for yourself, for you and your friends. Appetizers, 3 appetizers, all for the birthday bash celebration of my boy Woodsy. Remember, open bar. Yes, you heard that right. Open bar for 2 hours from 9 to 11 o'clock at Woodsy for the big birthday celebration, September 23rd. Listen, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back on the other side. Listen, those who voted for Labour and now a ball coming up on the other side as well too. Let's go to the top. Come right back. And well, not the top because we're going past the top. Let's do a station ID and come back. You ready for the station ID for me over there, buddy? You ready? Huh? Hey, man, go to the station ID, no, man. Just bring the station ID. Let me do this and come back on the other side. Let me go. Here we go. Let's go.
On OMG in the morning with a real bad man Big and DJ Shady.
The number one morning show in the SVG.
Morning.
OMG in the morning.
Come on now.
Alash, Kilish, Alash. Yo, that what they do say? Yo,
Misha bring it to it's done. Say man bad like in 90s. Tell a boy don't step on me Nikes. Go place get lively. And me there in my vibes no one negative tonight. So watch what you do up watch nicely. Me have bad girl a link on the IG. And if you check on side, just the Indian. Mad girl indeed. I'm tell you with the cheese on me iris. Touch down on Miami Beach. Fuck the girl I'm at almost 90 degrees. Girl I take the clothes she and me saying with disease. And the way she talking Chinese. For the head for the dogs, I'ma die for the streets. Life I like the alphabet because me grind for the peace. Nothing nobody who me fear, me not guide if you reach. Me dog them out that. On the bad bung, I'ma step. Man, if you see me don't question, man. Girl I look for me neck, God. Be a girl like Stefan, Dan. Once out and hand stand. Tell the DJ pull up a bad song. Man, like put your band, tan. Every day you with me bad, fam. Say man bad like in 90s. Tell a boy don't step on me Nikes. Go place get lively. Man me there in my vibes no one negative tonight. So watch what you do up watch nicely. Me have bad girl a link on the IG. And if you check on side, just the Indian. Bad girl indeed. I'ma tell you with the cheese and me irie. Hello me come and ya hide from the camera. Want give you the banana. Figure make a stamama. Him and a bad man. Bad they make you fight ya. Man me goons like you know. Make you. When me ratata, yard man, kitty shan, Trinidad shatter ya. You know see how is Lenny Kells and Papaya. On the bad gun, I'ma step. Man, if I see me don't question, man, tell a look on my neck, God. Be a girl like Stefan, Dan. Stand, hand, stand. Tell the DJ pull up a bad song. Man, I put your band, Dan. Every day you with me bad, fam. Cause I'm morning time. Drag out in my walkie line. Don't be drunk so me squeeze like a rum with lime. Yell that 100 times. And we no car, we no funny guy. And I see the youth rich blind. Like a girl that they she want. So she tell me fuck. Outer space like I come from Mars. Cash
OMG in the morning.
Mama clear up like cars. Just make up. Roll pump. Like cars. Papi sunroof make a reach for the stars.
Hey, listen, I still want to talk about the company that came into SVG to rape the lands in North Leeward, okay? The company that got orgasm to take out stones. Oh, we hearing nothing. Nobody is saying anything. But listen, let me say good morning to another buddy of mine. Shallow, good morning to you, buddy. SVG Tires, they have a special on tires. Yeah, by a regular price. And get the fourth one for free. Yes, at SVG Tires. Don't say Shallow by Shallow. Yeah. Visit Shallow stores today, right now in Kingston. You can call him at 457-1467 or in Andersville at 456-6444. Even they call, and there's some beautiful young ladies there. Not long young. There's some beautiful ladies there. As answer the phone. Talk to Shallow. Say, I want to talk to Shallow. Talk to him. You're going to hear him. He always have a smile on his face. And you're going to hear the smile in his voice as well, too. Call him today and talk to him. That's my boy, Shallow. Make sure you check it out, all right? KCCU, let me tell you. Listen, embrace the future of education with KCCU EdTech. Head back to school, hassle-free, with financial support from $3,000 to $5,000. Enjoy super low interest rates, manageable monthly payments. Invest in your dreams today and pave the way for a brighter tomorrow. Yep, at KCCU. Don't you dare forget it. Make sure you check it out. You got to make that investment right now when it's good. All right? We ready? Ready? We ready? Yeah. We ready for this man here. Yeah, listen. This fella here. We're bringing him in. StreamYard? StreamYard? Yeah, okay. Let's bring StreamYard. Let's bring him in.
I want to say thanks.
Go on.
I want to say thanks to those who voted for Labour, but now a ball.
Come in. You going to talk to me? Morning.
Sherry.
You hear?
Good morning, buddy. I am convinced. I am very, 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 very convinced that somehow, you see that Kongswater, they will be obeying. And man that check foot south, he get him over the weekend. Yo, the man compelling some serious punches this morning. What how the man look good? The man look like you been go get a brand new makeover.
Boy.
Yeah?
I make a baby on the weekend, boy.
I telling you, you have to be. What's how this man shine? Yeah? What is this? Yeah, morning, buddy.
Morning, buddy. How you do?
Good man, I good. Well, I was listening to you earlier, and I am glad you mentioned that Reno issue and so forth, because there's so much in this that is so unbelievable. And then the fact that, you know, let me set this here early in the foundation. I have no issue with any foreign investment. I have no issue with any foreign company doing anything in St. Vincent. But what I have a problem is process and also unfairness. Now, you have a company come here. They go down the road down, they say how they get how much organs in them have to hold on for one another because of the amount of stone where they sit down there. They have to hold on, they can't even stand up knees deep. Yeah? They go so far, the orgasm are there so sweet that they use heavy equipment and roll over people's cups and stuff. They didn't even realize they do that. You see it? And then on top of all of that, when the question was asked about the soil and everything, a whole minister watch Vincent Shans and tell we are with Dotish and tell we the topsoil go be put back. Carlos James says so. So the topsoil go be put back. If that is not a slap to our faces as Vincent and that a whole minister watch why Dotish say this. When we move the topsoil, we are going to put it back. The topsoil that has to be washed away, plenty of it, that has to be washed away. So now we see where people's farms were destroyed. This is part of the unfairness. People's farms were destroyed without even a meeting with the people. People don't go out and work hard in the sun, Bing. They go out, some of them back and hurt them still the next morning when they get up and see that the produce were destroyed. To add insult to injury, now you have the same entity planting, doing farming in St. Vincent after destroying people's crops. If that is not a kick up with bomb, then something is wrong. Then to further that, you have this same entity now being given all of these concessions. Some we know of, some we don't know. Because now I want to know what new agreement has been put in place for what they are doing. Now remember, this is an entity that couldn't get a quarry license in their own country. They can't get a quarry license in their own country. But they come here to do quarrying. Now, again, let me show you how unfairness runs. Let me just stick on the quarry thing for a little bit. Now, when this entity came, they were able to build a jetty in no time to the sea. Not true? To transport the stones when they start to do the quarry. Miran? No. You have another Vincentian entity that has a quarry to the north of the country, up at Ovia, put in for a license to build a jetty up at that side to be able to do the same thing and was refused. Them think they're wrong. So when people talk, I like to tell them that what others get and what foreigners come and enjoy, we can't see it. And you know what irks me, Bing, is that so many times our Prime Minister and others look at us as fools. Because when this issue was raised up, was brought up, especially on that issue of rainforest with the 15 years tax-free operation, you know the excuse that was given in Parliament and other places? We were told that when these entities come, they come to spend millions and so forth, so we have to give them all the concessions that we can. We forget that these are billionaire companies. And when they come here, they come because possibly they see a market. So because they see a market, it means that they're coming to invest. So we're supposed to get from them. But the thing is, we continue to give them more than we receive because these entities will come, like for example, Rainforest, 15 years duty-free operation with everything, no custom duties, nothing, with the option to renew. Which Vincentian company you know being in all the years get such a sweetheart deal. And we keep on seeing entity after entity after entity after entity come here and kick us in the nuts with this kind of thing here. And people find excuses and believe the politicians when they come and tell you, oh, this is our reason. And we accept it and we run with it. And then when somebody like me and you come and talk about it and say we're not satisfied, we are enemies of the state. And we are enemies of progress. But what progress is there when the country is making nothing from these deals? What progress is there? We see rainforest, they brought rainforest here too, to say that they come to export. But instead, we see rainforests are selling on our local market and importing. No, these things that they import, are they also coming in duty free? I will have to say yes. I want to know why. Because when you go to the supermarket and look at the prices relative to other things that are there, there's an exorbitant difference.
Hold on. You're saying that rainforest importing products?
They have to be imported because they're not producer.
Like what so?
You have the vegetables, the frozen vegetables. You have the pigtail. You have all of these things. A fish there, so then come for things for export.
Yeah, I saw the pigtail, and I was like, what?
And plenty other stuff too. And when you look in comparison to the prices, we're looking if we're not careful at a serious case of monopoly again here in St. Vincent. And the problem is that I think people keep on forgetting what monopoly means. Because if these supermarkets have to lessen what they bring from overseas, the brands that they usually bring, because most of the time they might stay on the shelves or in the freezers, you know what I mean, past their time because rainforest could sell at such a low rate. You don't think that is unfair? That is an unfair advantage. But what do we have in place to curb these things? You see my issue? Now, with Reno, you have a whole minister and his father going around with Reno. I can't say King my name. So with the hey who talking, they have a whole minister going around with Reno to purchase coconuts and other stuff, eh? Tell me when you have seen a minister going around with any trafficker in St. Vincent. Tell me when you have seen a minister. If people don't see what is wrong with this picture, something is wrong, ding. A whole minister and his father going around with Reno to purchase produce and asking farmers to sell their produce to Reno. Them things wrong. We have seen where the government has tried so often to push out our local people from the markets that they have established. Now the government, tell me what new market has been opened for agriculture in St. Vincent here by the government.
Let me ask you something. I saw the same article which spoke about the purchasing of coconuts, right? Saying that the closure of Windfresh. Is that correct? Or did I miss that?
I read the same thing and I was surprised just as you when I heard you this morning talking about the Windfresh thing and that you were surprised. I was shocked too when I read it. I was shocked because as a matter of fact, just a few days ago, one of my aunt of mine was here from Barbados. We went back when I was telling them about the same Windfresh and their produce. As a matter of fact, we went to a restaurant and it was one of the Windfresh peppers that we were using.
Yes, well packaged and everything.
And I mentioned it and was praising it. So I was really surprised when I read that in the paper. Well, on the news. It is really surprising to me. So why can't we see, things being pumped into these entities to keep them afloat for St. Vincent, from St. Vincent? The same way we have these foreign entities coming in here and sucking honey and milk and eating grape, but spitting out the skin and we have to eat the skin. Why can't our own get that? Listen, when I hear people say, "Oh, why Vincentians are not investing and this and that," I have a document sent to me by Bigger Biggs, and Bigger could call in and tell you. From since 2013, he put forward a proposal to the EU and the World Bank. The EU I read it on the rant last night. The EU love the thing so much. They say what? Partner with your government, your Ministry of Agriculture and so forth, and we will get this thing done. Up to now, because the government was supposed to take a hand in it. Up to now, it never happened. Yeah? Up to now, it never happened.
Since when?
Since 2013. Yeah? Up to now, it never happened. You remember when we were talking about poultry and becoming sufficient so that our poultry bill will go down? I will tell you, since 2010, yeah, I was with a young lady at the time. One of her uncles came here to invest in that. You remember the same time when we were told that some entity from Israel will come to run that? You remember that? I remember, and one of my girlfriend at the time, uncle, came here with cash, $500,000 cash to kick off that, and was denied because he represent the wrong color. Yeah, so these are the kind of things that are happening. You see what I'm saying? So when people say, "Oh, Vincent, I'm not investing this and that," ask what is being offered to them. So if people don't see what is wrong with this, we came here, destroy people crops, but no, want to buy and cultivate in the same crops to sell from St. Vincent, are we crazy? Yeah, we mad with all of these concessions. So look at the unfair advantage that they have. And again, they are not using some private space to box up the stuff and prepare the stuff. It's the same boxing plant of the government they're using. Yeah, you see the one over in Lauders? You remember the other day they had a whole heap of the urea, making sure that they try to get them fast out of over there. It was to clean up and give space for Reno. Go over there, you're gonna see what's happening. I want to know what deal was done with Reno and if Reno is paying rent for this vaccine plan. Wow. But as I said,
we have a right and a responsibility to ask these questions.
As I said, Ebing, before I go, you have a whole minister. A whole minister going around with Reno to buy produce. Let that sink in. Have a good morning, buddy.
Wow. I tell you. That's some stuff came out there that I wasn't prepared for. Good morning, caller, you're live.
Yes, man. Good morning.
Good
I
morning.
called specifically to big up your last caller, Kenton King is his name. And I tell you, if you lose somebody like Kenton King of your program, you will be severely hurt. Dave Roberts saying that. I want more people like Kenton King, but we can't get them all the same. So we have too much hypocrites in this country. Too much hypocrites, oppressors, and the powers that be. To hear what he just said there about a minister going around with what's the fella name? Huh? Reno, what the hell name? I mean, how could in the year 2023, and they say we free from slavery, our minds are emancipated. Well, God bless those of us whose minds are emancipated like this. Because the same backwardness, dotishness going on in this country. Man exploiting man, our Vincentian people exploiting their own people. And you want to tell me, those of us who are in certain positions, because we get in something, we're very full. We can't see the evil, or we can't see how other people are suffering in this country. What's really wrong with us? What is really wrong with us? Something had to be wrong with us. But some of us are just damn greedy, and we will close our eyes to the wickedness, the worthlessness that is going on in this country. That's all. And keep on coming on, Kenton.
Thank you. 4511069. There's a WhatsApp message I want to read. This WhatsApp message. Ben Kenson's misleading your listeners. He, like others, continue to spread disinformation. A Reno company involved in export business in a completely different locally registered company from Orgasm Company. Check Dougie the Freitas on the issue. Caller, good morning, you're live. That's a message on WhatsApp.
Boy, it has really punished me, boy. I'm trying to get this since before you home.
For spite.
I believe you.
No. But you know you've been in this studio. You know we don't have any damn thing. If you want to buy me, a thing to see who call, and then I go take it. But you're the hell. Yeah?
That mean I got unlimited time if I do that game.
No.
Then there's a trade off, you know.
Tell me, buddy. Tell me. Let me go.
No. Let me start with Reno. You remember when I was in the studio with you before Christmas when I asked Shady to upload some pictures, right? With the area down in that Richmond region. You remember?
Yes.
Put them up on the screen.
I actually asked Shady for them this morning to see them this morning.
But you should have said so on the radio.
No. I said it on air. I said when I was thinking, I said, Shady, you've got those photos of how Reno raped North Leeward and the farmers destroy all the farmers' produce. And we hear absolutely nothing now about the stone and the orgasm and the sex. But all we're hearing about is Reno exporting.
And then Stephen talk about the geological study. Now, Bing, you have all kind of equipment that could have measured the amount of rock in that entire area. If you coming in to invest, to say you're going to do quarry or whatever, right before you give them the license and whatever else to do this, can't you come up with a proper geological study and present it to the government before the government issue the license for you to do all this stuff? I mean, when I went down there and I saw the thing, I was totally annoyed and flabbergasted over what I saw. I mean, it's ridiculous. All right?
Now, but Bones, why are we asking this question on air? And it is our job in the media, which is called the Fourth Estate, to ask these questions. Right. Doesn't the opposition have a responsibility to ask in Parliament what is really going on with what Reno came here to do originally with the quarry? What is happening there?
They're the first line to voice the people's opinion that the government don't voice. That's what the opposition job is. I sometimes wonder about certain politicians and what the main objective is for an opposition party. You know, it just blows my mind, man. And you see, I keep telling you, right? I mean, Vincentians are looking for an alternative. I hate this talk, which I use 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. Because it doesn't matter who you put in. They do the same thing. But people don't like to take chances. They go with what they know. And hope that they get something whenever they vote for whoever they vote for. One thing I hate, Amy, let me tell you something, is injustice. Now, I'm gonna deal with it in a big way. And once I finish making a phone call to get some information, I sent you a document yesterday, Bing, right? A notice that was put out from the FSA. Okay? I'm going to deal with it probably tomorrow because I know Lansford is coming on today. So I know I ain't going to have time. But I want to deal with that
is coming up next, okay?
Yeah, right. So I can't deal with it. I know that. But I know Tuesday Lansford is not on. Let me tell you something. If citizens don't ask questions, I don't know what people are so afraid of. People might think it's because of my name or how much money they think I have. That has absolutely nothing to do with it. Nothing. People must learn to speak up and bring the issues out. If you don't bring the issues out, folks, everything remains the same and gets worse. That works against you. You understand? And we must, like you just said, Bing, the fourth estate. Now, you guys are supposed to ask questions and bring it out. But it seems to me like everybody wants to shy away from certain things. Well, I tell you what, I'm putting everybody on notice. I will talk about it. Because we must never allow these things to happen, okay, and other people getting all screwed up. And who's back? You know what I'm saying? If you've lost your integrity and your worthiness for a few dollars, man, let me tell you something. I was talking to a Sicilian guy yesterday. I don't think I'm joining the mafia because I don't have no room for black people in that. But he was talking to me by the supermarket. And he said he told some of his friends recently, when you go in the hole, all they got, if you're lucky, they might put something and you would have got 2 pockets. But guess what? Now the pockets them empty. Empty. But I have a better way to say it. You're lucky if they put clothes in you when they put you down in the hole. So you're going with nothing. So why oppress other people for the little time that you have? Why? I'm telling you all here, I ain't putting up with it. And on top of that, when I ask questions, they got the pomposity to tell me I must go on the radio with it. Well, you're not going on the radio with it. I want to come on the radio with it. I'm telling you, it's licks left, right, and center. I ain't afraid of nobody. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And it's about time these things start coming out in the public sphere. It's not right. All right, Bing, we can talk.
All right, buddy. All right,
but
thank
let me
you.
leave you because that's coming in.
Yeah.
That's coming in just now.
Yeah, all right.
All right.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Thank you. And we're going to take a quick break. Come right back. We can go straight to Dr. Richards. Shady, let's go. Let's take this break and come right back right here.
Get ready, get set, and head down to Quartz and Quartz Optical now for Beat the Clock 4 days only. Wednesday the 13th to Saturday 16th of September. Rush down to Quartz and beat the clock for great offers for Goldbusters.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metro Saint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metro Saint General Insurance Company.
Keep calm. We're online now. Thousands of local content for your viewing pleasure. Live. Boom. IKTV. Tune in. Get interactive. Get involved with WhatsApp or Instagram. Interact Live. Party.
Always wanted a motorcycle, but they've been too expensive. I pass in on my way to work, and then boom, I see courts of motorcycles outside. I'm excited. I get up one day, I go down, I spoke to this guy. I think his name was Sheena, this short, chubby little guy, you know. I purchased 2 bikes so far. It was the 150 SL and the 250 Dragon. This blue, beautiful AKT TT Dragon, this is my baby. I call her Becky. She gives me the best ride ever. My name is Storyboy Nick, and I live to ride my AKT.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
Your vision is our mission at Kurtz Optical. Shop today for up to 25% off. And with Ready Finance, pay nothing for 30 days. Book your free eye examination appointment online at www.kurtzoptical.com. Your vision is our mission. Up to 25% off your completed eyewear. Only at Kurtz Optical. Value you can see. Conditions apply. See in-store for details.
Keep calm. We're online now. Thousands of local content for your viewing pleasure. Live. Boom. IKTV. Tune in. Get interactive. Get involved with WhatsApp or Instagram. Interact live. Party from home. Subscribe, follow, send us your voice notes. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, or call us live in studio. Be where the world is going. Stay home and connect online. Boom 1069, IKTV. Join the evolution. It's all about you. Connect now.
Discover New Guinness Smooth. Perfectly balanced for a smooth, refreshing taste. New Guinness Smooth.
Your vision is our mission at Kurtz Optical. Shop today for up to 25% off. And with Ready Finance, pay nothing for 30 days. Book your free eye examination appointment online at www.kurtzoptical.com. Your vision is our mission. Up to 25% off your completed eyewear. Only at Kurtz Optical. Value you can see. Conditions apply. See in-store for details.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
Keep calm. We're online now. Thousands of local content for your viewing pleasure. Live. Boom. IKTV. Tune in. Get interactive. Get involved with WhatsApp or Instagram. Interact live. Party from home. Subscribe, follow, send us your voice notes. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, or call us live in studio. Be
people, vehicles, or other important objects can be blurry and blend into the background, making it difficult to identify details in black and white. ColorView technology by Hikvision enables cameras to produce colorful videos with rich details in extremely low light environments. Any detailed information, such as the color of the hair and skin, color of the clothing, will play a critical role in following authority investigations. The ColorView camera is also covered with a supplemental light to keep its performance even in extremely dark scenarios. ColorView. View in color, even in darkness.
Find out more at Paladin SVG Inc. at telephone number 784-457-7241.
Let's check in with the doc and look at things with a wider lens. Pastor Richards on OMG.
Well, I had to get the doc inside earlier. Can't complain. I don't want him to complain this morning. So I brought him in a bit earlier this morning.
Early what? It's right on the dot. Early what? A couple seconds maybe? 20 seconds?
But okay, we do it our way, eh? But same thing you say about, same thing.
I appreciate the extra 30 seconds, but here I'll be honest with you. You really have been doing a good job of giving me extra time. You and Jill, I appreciate Jill giving me extra time. At the back end, if you
you ain't getting that this morning. You ain't getting that this morning. So that's why I tried to give you exact on time this morning. Good morning to you, my favorite doc and my favorite pastor.
Bing, good morning and thank you. I actually said, boy, I have to thank Bing. I said that this morning before I came on the radio. I have to thank Bing. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Shady. Got some energy this morning, Bing. But I got. Good morning, all the listeners. Good morning, Mr. Weeks. I heard you said me a special good morning. So good morning, Spencer. Good morning, Frank. I'm coming to you just now, cousin Frank. I don't want you. If I touch the topic, if I get around to that, I don't want you to call in, Frank. I ain't know if I don't get there yet. You've been giving me a hard time on. We go back and forth, a private line, you know. So we're not seeing eye to eye, Frank, but we're having a good discussion, even if we're not seeing eye to eye. So, you know, we could make the whole nation privy to the disagreement we have and why we are disagreeing, and let the nation, you know, decide. I mean, you know, see which of the cousins they would favor today, Frank. So Bing, if Frank calling, we will entertain him. So thank you, Bing. Dwight, Bing Joseph.
You're most welcome, Doc.
Yeah, 10 years ago when you first came to KBC, you remember? Was it 10 years?
Oh yes.
Ago?
Oh yes.
No more than it's more like 12. Anyways,
it was before the move. It was before the move.
Long before the move. We used to use every Friday night you and your buddy there. Every Wednesday night. I mean, it wasn't just Sunday morning you were showing up big, and I don't know, boy. You remember those days? You weren't just showing up on Sunday mornings. You were showing up for the Bible studies and all of that, but like you got enough of that.
No.
Of the Bible study. Because I know you hardly miss Sunday mornings, you know, but I mean the Bible study things. Come on.
Let me say good morning to my very good friend Marcus Valentine. I haven't heard from you in a while, but good friends are like stars, even though you don't see them, you know, they're there. So good morning to you, Marcus.
Yeah, Bing. Yeah. But ever since then, Bing, you have been a blessing to this church. So this weekend we celebrated 5 years in this new KBC facility, and I started thinking that behind the scenes there are many collaborators with us in this society. You just mentioned one of them. There. And I'm like, you know, I need to pause and let the nation know, because Bing, all your clock, you took a chance on us. Running an urban station at that time, before even you got into Outer Prospect, before you, while you were still putting together this studio, you hadn't done a single broadcast at that studio, Ike TV. Bing, you remember? You hadn't done a single broadcast. You said, Pastor, when this thing open, you on board, we bring. And I'm like, Bing, you're doing urban stuff and all that. You're bringing a church on board. And for some reason, you knew that it was a good move. And over the years, you have given us a chance to come. And I told you at the get-go, everybody listen, everybody who think that I am biased. And like, Pastor Richard's biased. I told Bing, from the get-go, if I come on, I am going to be biased. Bing, you remember that?
Yes, sir.
I said to you, I am going to be biblically biased. I'm going to talk about events. I'm going to talk about what you guys are talking about on the radio. You know, guardedly, I'm going to pick up some things and I'm going to run with them. But what I will do, I would listen and I will comment from a biblical perspective every single time. And you were okay with that. And so you have given this church, this organization, a chance over the years to have a voice and an influence in this country, and the value of that is incalculable. So thank you, Bing. Thank you thank you to our other collaborators. We have a number of other collaborators across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It is spread very wide, whether it is in business or in offices or wherever you are, in the different fraternities, even among the law fraternity. People, the respect that you have for this church and what we are doing and the contribution that we are making, and whenever we reach out to you, the kind of the kind of open arms that we get, it is something that we are very grateful for. We have made a lot of strides, especially since we moved into the new facility, having a place of our own. There's nothing like having a home of your own, Bing. You know that with your own studio. And we moved in here, and the impact that we are able to have, if we were to sit and talk about the different ministries we have, whether to teens or to children, to mothers, with the ministries we have in terms of grievance counseling, benevolence offerings, what we give through benevolence, what we do to grief counseling, what we do to substance abuse, relationship counseling, all of that. I mean, I could go on and talk about how we have been able over, especially these last 5 years, when people are asking, what is church doing? What is church doing? The litany of things, if we were to put them together, what this church has done over these years, it's a good testimony. And we can't sit here and think it is all us. It is God working through us, and many, many people who have come alongside us in this island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We really appreciate the good report. We really appreciate the respect that people have for the church and the appreciation for what we do. We are very, very grateful for that. So we had quite a blast this Sunday, giving God thanks first and foremost, and then celebrating with all those who are collaborating with us. And Bing, you are among them, so thank you.
And you're welcome. I looked at the service on Sunday, and I saw the special sermon about the building, the church building, and it doesn't belong to you. It doesn't belong to you. It belongs to
you. Saw the pictures, Bing?
I saw the photos as
you
well.
Saw yourself in the pictures?
I didn't see myself, but I saw you look like you're pretending to work hard with sweat and all kind of thing. Shady said you throw ice on your head and make it look like if you're sweating. I saw the photos.
Oh gosh. When Pat Shady said anything? Shady in the studio?
Yes, yes.
Okay, Shady but I had to come on this morning. I mean, we get a lot of licks too, we get a lot of licks, and we but in the main, man, I'm telling you, we get real support from people left, right, and center. Vocal support, prayer support. If we ask them to come alongside us in anything, to collaborate with us with any ministry we are doing, a lot of when we collaborate with Ministry of Mobilization or other ministries to do things in the public. Right now, we are doing a big greenhouse thing out at the community college. I mean, we don't talk about half the things we are doing, but on Saturdays,
that is something I wanted to say though, that the church do so much, but I don't think the church does justice in saying what you do.
People must say you're tooting your own horn and you're bragging, and you be like a politician. No, everything a politician does, the talk. But I mean, the church, we're not doing it for the talk. We're doing it because there's a need. You understand? But we do play that greenhouse project, which is basically teaching people to run backyard gardens, and we're teaching a lot of people to run backyard gardens. We there's a special grant that is allowed for that, and we're bringing a lot of people on board. It's mostly ladies, but we are teaching them how to run a small greenhouse there, small backyard garden, and basically to be food sufficient. You're producing from that garden, so that price of sweet pepper these days, green sweet peppers near $10 a pound, but for those of you who like the red ones, this weekend was $18 a pound. The orange ones were near $28. The yellow ones were $23 a pound. You know, you had to teach people how to grow squash and stuff like that and take care of things. So we are actually doing that. So while we're feeding you spiritually, we are also aware of the need that you need something to eat. So Bing, yes, but you might know that a whole lot of what the church is doing, but a lot of people might not know a whole lot of the good that the church is doing in the society, Bing. And you think we should talk more about it?
I certainly do, Doc. I certainly do. I certainly do. And it's not about blowing your own horn, but it's about letting people know what you're doing, because we hear generally people speak about the church doesn't do this, the church don't do that, the church don't do this and that and that and that. But it's people will say that out of ignorance, and I say ignorance, not in the sense, not in the bad way, but ignorance of not knowing, you know. And I know your church do a lot of stuff. You do a lot.
Not just this church, Bing. Not just this church.
Well, I can speak about I can speak about the Kingston Baptist Church, because I've got association with that, right? And I'm sure other churches do stuff.
There you go. Yeah, other churches too. Yeah, can't leave out the other churches. They're doing good work, but we don't talk. That's the thing, Bing. Yeah, we don't talk. We don't say. I mean, we would help a ton load of people with benevolence needs and all that across our community. People come crying with children with this or that needs. You help them and you move on. You know, nobody knows. You just help them, move on. Nobody knows. But there are a number of people who have become aware of the good work and the caliber of work that is put out by Kingston Baptist Church and by other churches. And they know when they come alongside us and they collaborate, that it is something that is going to be done responsibly with discipline and with a wide reach. And so once people recognize that there's quality to an organization or to an institution, they tend to want to get attached with that organization and institution. So I hope that our celebration this weekend was an inspiration to many. Certainly, Bing, you watched it, so you know that it was good. It was good stuff. All right. Okay, so if you don't want to question me anymore about that, let me move on to Spencer.
Sure, man.
So Spencer, this morning I was listening to all of the discussion, and a lot of it had to do with the economy, with hotels and all. But when you got down to Cano One, a lot of it has to do with distributive justice in the way that I have been talking about that. Where's the money going? And we getting the rich getting richer and the poor not getting changing their circumstance. It's in Vincent with all the money that is poured into, whether it is Black Sand or what's the blue thing, the blue building in Calico, Rainforest, or other things, you know. Are we feeling the spin-offs, you know, from that, or is there a spin-off but just for a few? So I listened to all of that this morning, and people weighed in. Sentiment, a lot of it is opinion and how we feel, but you make room for that. As long as the listeners realize a man is giving his opinion, all right? A man is giving a very, very strong opinion on something, and you filter that now. That doesn't become your axis for discussion later on, but you filter that and you bear that in mind what he said, but you don't have to buy it hook, line, and sinker. You understand? That's being fair, right? So I listened to all of that. I see where that is headed. And Spencer came on and he gave me a two-sided thing there. I don't know if it was deliberate. Or you all listen up, eh? You all know you know that I try to dissect and peel the onion and that kind of way. So Spencer came on. I'm listening, Spencer, intently. So he could produce document. You remember that word being document? You could produce document, you could read, you're going to come on a program, you're going to highlight this, you're going to blow up that, right? Very agitated. Spencer, going to private message me now, you know, I just know it. Very agitated about fighting for this and fighting for that. And then on the other end, you remember what he said that destroyed all of that? He said he had a Sicilian friend or whatever conversation with some Sicilian. You remember that, right?
Yes.
And the Sicilian said, well, boy, at the end of the day, Right? I listen, I ain't laughing. Like Spencer, people listening to you. Spencer, people listening to you. All right. Unless you deliberately doing this to give both sides and help us to kind of come to a synthesis. People listening, you said Spencer. So here's what Spencer said. Tell me if I'm lying. Spencer said, at the end of the day, you're going in a hole, Bing, right? You're going in a hole, and if you're lucky, you get a suit with 2 pockets, but the 2 pockets empty. And he said, furthermore, if you ain't careful, you can get thrown in the hole naked, right? So I got the point, Spencer, that you fight up for plenty, you fight up for plenty, you fight up for plenty. But at the end of the day, you got to leave everything behind. And I think through the entire program this morning, my people, my fellow Vincentian, through the entire program, that was the most sobering thought I heard all day. And it made me question, and it made me ask myself, what is all the fighting for? Spencer, even you're fighting and agitating because it's a two-sided sword. I think you aimed it particularly at those whose pockets were being lined. If I follow the slant of your discussion, you were aiming it towards the upper echelon who creaming off the top, whatever came out of Canon One or whatever came out of Black Sand or whatever came out of Rainforest or what do you call it? The I can't remember the name now.
The mill.
Or the stone thing. Yeah. So Spencer he was saying, I mean, you're all doing this, but at the other end, right, where we hope that there will be a redistribution of income, you have to watch your fighting and striving that you, now, mind you, don't get me wrong, I am not saying you should not fight up for equality. Don't get me wrong, I am not saying that all these unfair games, that you don't have to address them and speak about them if you deem them to be unfair. If you deem that things that are happening are unscrupulous or you are not being dealt with fairly, it's a matter of justice. You got to deal with it. I am not saying that. But I am saying the perspective of Spencer is so valuable. What Spencer said to me, watch how you fight. Watch how you fight. There's something more. You can't win by losing. And sometimes, and you've been around me long enough to hear me say this, sometimes when you win, you lose. And in all of these things that they mentioned this morning, all of them, some of them, are viable in terms of pursuing and understanding, getting more information, correct. But you want to watch to what extent are you alienating people in this quest and this striving and in this aggressive mindset and mentality? To what extent are you destroying fabric of brotherhood and society? To what extent are you being destructive in social relationships? To what extent are you spewing toxicity in your narrative? Because you might end up getting a few dollars more, Clint Eastwood, by the way. For those of you, a little throwback there. You might end up getting a few dollars more in your striving, whether you're at the top end, the top echelon, or you're at the other echelon where the masses are. You might end up getting a few dollars more. But what you would have done in the process and the destructive processes and narratives that you would have unleashed, and you get a few dollars more, and at the end of the day, like Spencer said, there's a hole waiting for you, 2 empty pockets, if you're lucky. Perspective, Spencer. Perspective. Thank you for that this morning.
Wow. And thank you for that, Doc.
Yeah, you notice I watched the clock and I realized, boy, man says stop at a certain time, so I done.
I know Spencer's gonna respond, so
He's gonna message me privately for sure.
Yes. Yeah, and if I know him, he's gonna call tomorrow. He's gonna respond and add or take away or.
A man could argue. Oh gosh, Spencer could argue.
Thank you very much. Bernadette Rance, you have a beautiful rest of the day.
To all, yes. All right. Thank you.
Thank
Blessings,
you.
everyone.
Blessings
Yeah.
on
I really want to engage Frank on the radio because Frank and I been going back and forth. And Frank, you call me names. You call me names. So call me them on the radio, Frank.
Doc, have yourself a great day today, okay? Have yourself a great day.
Have a good one. All right. Bye, everybody.
Thank you very much, Doc.
All right.
That's my pastor.
I appreciate you being. I'll have you know that. All right.
Some Baptist Church. Not just a pastor, a teacher, an economist, a business. He's just about everything, an educator.
But not a politician.
That's the same day for you. Let me tell you something about Flow before we go. You can cash back with Flow this September. Flow is giving you all your cash back. That's right. Pay off your Flow bill and be one of the lucky customers to get all your cash back from Flow every week. Visit the Flow store or pay your bill online or any of the Flow partner stores to get your cash back. All of your cash back. So in other words, you give them that and you get that. Yeah. It's quite interesting. Yeah. Very interesting that one. I like that promotion. Win big with Flow. You can walk away with an iPhone 14, smart TV, smartphones, shopping vouchers, and more. Simply top up $10, just $10 or more, or activate a 3, 7, or 30-day prepaid combo plan to win. It's that easy to win with Flow this September. And the final one, listen, you get free internet for 1 month with Flow. If you don't have Flow internet at home, you can sign up now, pay no bill and no installation for 1 whole month when you sign up for a Flow high-speed internet package this September. Good morning to the staff at Flow. Yeah. Hey, Shallow, good morning to you. Shallow is my friend at the SVG Tire. Good morning to you, buddy. Shallow, listen, just if you go in there today to take advantage of this deal, just ask for him and say, Bing, say, morning, I haven't seen you in a while, I used to see you a lot at grammar school when both our kids used to go to grammar school. So we'll park up outside, wait there, and all the other parents who wait there for our children, children's. And Shallow was one of them who used to religiously, good parent, good father. Yeah, that's Shallow. Listen, at SVG Tires, they have a special on tires. Buy at regular price and get the fourth one for free. Check their stores today in Kingston, in Paul's Avenue. That's right behind us there. Or you can give them a call at 457-1467. Or in Annisville, there's a location in Annisville right at the St. James Medical School, right just in that area there, that vicinity there. You can call them at 456-6444. But listen, Shallow called and asked for Shallow. Shallow is the man who won't give you the deal. You give it a deal. Yeah, not that you won't get the deal from any of the staff members, but Shadow gonna get the deal. Yeah, let me tell him my buddy there. Woodsy, morning. Hugh Peters, Urias, Heptito. Oh, Woodsy in Calico name Urias. Woodsy in New York name Heptito. What two stupid names. What a silly, disgusting name. Who would give their child name Urias and Heptito? What stupid names are those? Yeah. By the way, they're good people. Yeah. Woodsy, my buddy in New York, is having his big birthday celebration on the 28th. In other words, he had a big birthday party. And all of you invited. And he's saying when you're having a party, you're expected to eat and drink for free. So for 2 hours in his party, between 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock, you eat and drink for free. I mean, you can't get any better than that. Of course, you get your tickets for only $40. If I was you, I would go in, eat and drink for free, buy my $40 and eat and drink for free and leave. Even though because that's what some people are doing. They just come to your wedding or your party and them fussers argue for food. But listen, you ain't gonna be arguing for the food by Woodsies. All right, pay your $40, pick up your $40 ticket. You can get your tickets online as well to Ticketbrite. We're gonna tell you more about that as you go along. All right. So remember, it's top DJs in the house. Yeah. Blazing all the best dancehall, soca, hip hop, Afro, R&B, all the top music from the top DJs for his celebration. The man, he's celebrating in a big way. All right, you can get your bottle packages, and they've got some beautiful young ladies coming to serve you at your tables. You've got some special tables. You can get your $250 table, where you get one bottle, 2 tickets, so two of you can go in, and you get a table, a bottle, and an appetizer. Right? If you go early, I don't know if you could eat and drink for free and then get all them things there still. But if I was you, I would go in all, eat and drink for free, eat him down, eat him and drink him down. You know, you used to say eat them out and drink them out. Election, well, please go from 9 o'clock and eat and drink him out for spite. By Woodsies. Buy the bottle package for $450. You get 2 bottles, top shelf bottles, 4 tickets, table, and 2 appetizers, or the $650 package. That's my kind of thing. That's my thing there. I had three bottles, 6 tickets. I had which of my 6 friends I would take with me? Like which of my 5 other friends I would take with me when I go? Yeah. Oh boy, I got a call coming in there. Yeah. Call it right back, buddy. I'm still on the radio. All right, call it right back. Yeah. So with that, you get for the $650 package, you got 3 bottles, 6 tickets, table, and 3 appetizers. Only at Woodsies as he celebrates his birthday bash. Yeah, on the 23rd of this month. Yeah, we over time. We into jail time. Hey, listen, Winston, have yourself a great day, buddy. George, morning to you. Have yourself a great one. And all of you on the Facebook Live, all of you on the WhatsApp Live, all the contributors, have yourself a great one as well too. Yeah, until tomorrow morning. Yeah, we're going. You ready to step out, Shady? You ready to go? There you go. We're gone until tomorrow morning.
Boom 1069 is trending. Blazing on the air at 1069 FM.
What does this button do? Lord, have mercy.
On your phone or device at tunein.com or on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Boom SVG 1069.
Outlet.
The Shade Room.
I'm fucking through all of that. Finna go hit the mall and spin it. Finna go hit the mall and get it. Split the shit up with all of my. Boy, I'm pulling ball for get it. On my nigga, let's drippin' spaghetti. Said my nigga was over get it. And my nigga was over get it, yeah. Shorty jump for the evening. Shorty jump for the night. See what I do with them pieces. Jump like Mike. See how I flooded the watch. See how I'm ducking the cops. See how I'm ducking these bums. I know what they do for the cop. I know what to do with an eater. I know how to make up pleaser. Count money in the way for my feet up. Make sure the money right for the meter. Press it, slide it, jam. Make sure the merch in your hand. Watch for the LP on stand. Can't stop, we in motion. Move, I'm getting focused. Out here getting noticed. Can't say with it, gotta show us. Can't talk about we ain't doing. Can't talk about they ain't born. Can't talk about they sure. Can't talk about they ain't do this. Swiping through all the jets. Finna go hit the mall and spin it. Finna go hit the mall and get it. Put the shit up with all of my. Boy, I'm pulling ball for get it. Oh, my nigga, let's drippin' spaghetti. And my nigga was over get it. And my nigga was over get it. Yeah. Boys, naysayers, told them make way for the way makers. My wrist says